or invest our energy more towards preferring solution. I do not think that division is the only way out of the mess we have found ourselves in. I tell people that if we can transmute our anger, our dissatisfaction against the Nigerian system to exploring political ways or getting involved in the politics of the nation, I think we will go a long way in achieving peaceful ways or of getting to a more peaceful way of resolving these issues and making everybody or majority of the people satisfied with the Nigeria we have. Obviously, there is nobody in today's Nigeria who will be happy that there is no infrastructure, that it appears the current federal government has been hijacked by a particular section of the country, that it appears that the people from a particular section of the country... Hello? Yeah, it appears that people from a particular section of the country, that is the Southeast, do not have enough manpower to occupy certain sensitive positions in the country of today, in today's federal government. It's not a very good thing, not a very good thing for anyone, any genuinely patriotic Nigerian to condone. But beyond asking for dissolution of the current federal government or the current union we have found ourselves in, I believe that we should explore more political ways. We should think about other options of people who are in the diaspora, people who are in Nigeria should think more, should invest more towards coming to participate in the political system, in the electoral contest, bring their wealth of knowledge, their talent, their finances too. We cannot sit back and conclude that nothing can work. We cannot sit back in our comfort zones and conclude that, well, the system is already rigged. I think if we are as tenacious as some people have been in fomenting trouble, if we are more creative, if we become more patriotic, if we can show a little more faith in Nigeria, not in the Nigerian political class, because sometimes when I say that Nigeria should prevail, a lot of people come against me, a lot of people come upon me asking me why I should ask that Nigeria should prevail. I am not asking for the present system, for the current situation of things to prevail. I am asking for the Nigeria, the country we are all part of, that we did not bargain to be part of, but that nature, providence has placed us in to prevail. And when it prevails, when Nigeria prevails, I believe all of us have prevailed. So we should be looking at ways to invest in bringing about that positive change we all aim for, or we all desire for.
Mr. FCC, I'm not sure anybody will disagree with the angle you are taking. However, people are concerned now at the general state of dangerous insecurity in the country. And so they are worried. What is the cause of this insecurity? What should be done? What practical measures can be taken now to solve the problem? How do you see what I've just said?
Yes. We have said a lot about the root cause of this insecurity. And I think one of the problems we have in the country is not about lack of ideas about how to solve problems, but the lack of the political will and sincerity of purpose in implementing wonderful ideas.
Let me be
For
specific.
instance,
Okay, let me be specific in my question. There
good.
are multiple attacks on security agencies in the Southeast region and in the South-South. The police are pointing at IPOB and ESN. The Imo State governor is saying it is political enemies. The people also in Ebonyi State, people are pointing at the herdsmen. Have we been able to properly identify and say these are the people carrying out these attacks in this region?
Well, I'm not a security agent. I do not work in any security agency in the country to be able to say these are the people carrying out these attacks. I think the government, the Southeast governors, are being reactionary. I think earlier today they held a meeting and came up and reiterated their position on setting up a regional security outfit. I think that is a little too late, because many months ago, their southwestern counterpart set up a Moteco. And there is actually, the Ebubago thing looks like copying the Moteco formula or model adopted by the southwestern governors. I think, even though I'm not a security expert, but I think investing in intelligence gathering will be more, we have more impact, will be more impactful at this time than the showiness of Ebubago. I saw the other time on social media where some uniform wearing but bellied people were being paraded as pioneer officers or recruits of the Ebubago security formation. If that is correct, if that picture is real, then it is an embarrassment to the Ebubago or to the idea of a regional security setup, because with what this guy, whichever group is involved, some people, sometimes I have reasons to suspect that the ESN is involved, is behind some of the attacks, because they say when the witch cries at night and the baby dies in the morning, you know where to point your fingers at. Because it was just a few months ago when Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast announcing the formation of the ESN and threatening or assuring Igbos that they were out to protect us or protect the Igbos against Fulani herdsmen invasion, and also made other threats, threatening security agencies. And before you know it, we started seeing attacks on security formations across the Southeast. Even if the ESN operatives or the ESN militia or the ESN freedom fighters, whatever label they will want to be addressed, are not directly behind these attacks, it is my argument that they set the grounds for this, whichever external forces or internal forces or whichever criminals or terrorists who are behind these attacks, to unleash these attacks on the Southeast. And whoever is behind it has to be, discouraged. And
yeah.
Okay.
Now, thank you very much. Now, please don't go. We'll come back to you on this topic. But now that Mohammed Alibaba is here, maybe the network in the area has improved. So, Mohammed, over to you.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
We're fine, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. What do you have to say on the topic we have tonight?
Yeah, truly the topic we have tonight is very germane, but the root causes, I think, are deeper than some of the where a lot of some commentators have now raised. For instance, before my network went off, I overheard someone talking about cows having priority over human beings. And then these are the kind of narratives that actually exacerbate, because these cows have been moving for centuries. They moved under Obasanjo, even in the civilian regime. They moved under Eradua, and they moved under Jonathan. But they've become an issue because Buhari is a Fulani, and so he's the one now that is encouraging the cows to move. So these are the kind of narratives that actually attack the symptoms rather than the foundation of the problem. I think we all know partly the Nigerian police, since when the military came back after Shehu Shagari, the Nigerian police has been serially neglected because these internal security problems we've been having are their primary responsibilities to checkmate. But because of the kill and go, the way Shagari, paid attention to the Sunday Adewisi-led police, military saw the civilian then as preparing them as a counterforce to their eventual overthrow. And so since they came, serially till now, the police has been neglected. A lot of us that are over 50 and above knew how the police used to be respected, how well equipped they were. Some of them have even filling stations. We all saw them. They were highly motivated because we grew up with some of them. But like I said, since after the Shagari coup, they have been serially neglected. And that was partly the genesis. And then, of course, too, the centralized nature of the police, though initially the opposition to state police was essentially because of what the local police were used before by the authorities. They were used to oppress their opponents. So, and that was why they were feared that if we had state police, maybe they could also be similarly employed. But with the way things are now, we knew that the police is overwhelmed. Even apart from lack of motivation and equipment, they are numerically overwhelmed. Unfortunately, when this government came, there was the approval to recruit 10,000 policemen every year for several years. Unfortunately, even the very first year was marred in controversy between the IG and the Police Service Commission. And that under the same regime, rather than to intervene and swiftly resolve it, they ended up in court. So even the additional men that were expected have not been injected into the force. And then, of course, a lot of them that are distracted with VIP services. So I think the root cause mainly is the lack of empowerment and motivation of the police, and then the structure. All this need to be, tackled serially. But most importantly, we also need to appreciate that the elites, these elite privileges, in our previous discussion, have raised it. The elites seem to equate their own privileges with the interest of their people. But by and large, they are only battling for their own privileges. I don't see how, like I cited, the ethnicity or the religion of the head of any of the security agencies has helped the people he purportedly represented. For instance, the dominance of the security apparatus since the coming of Buhari has not helped the entire North. In fact, two of the heads were from the Northeast, and that remains the headquarters of Boko Haram. So it has not helped anyone. I equally cited the instance of Dasuki. He was the national security advisor under Jonathan. Dasuki was an aspiring sultan. Sultan is the head of the Muslims, but that did not stop him from diverting the funds allegedly. Voted for the military to equip them against Boko Haram to fund Jonathan's election. Yet see how opposite they are from the far north, the caliphate headquarters to the creeks. Because why did he do that? Because his interest is best served by the person from the creek. So the elites have no issues with tribe and ethnicity except to use it to divide and rule, so that the masses who are very gullible and largely ignorant will continue to be on each other's throat rather than to face up to them. Because this
Mohammed, I'm very happy you have finally joined this discussion, because this angle you have taken creates an entirely new consonance to what we have been hearing all along. So what I will now do, please don't go. And I'm seeing many hands. Please, our listeners, just have a little more patience. We'll eventually get to you. Mohammed talked about issues raised by one of our speakers, Otunba. So I would like him to respond to what Mohammed have said. He also talked about one of the issues raised by one of our speakers, Makanjuola. So let's allow them 2 minutes, please, not more than that, to respond to some of the issues that Mohammed have said, and then we'll also get to Marcel. So first, Otunba, you've had Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Dan, again. The problem I have, I always say this to different forum, it seems like I'm on my own. When I think about things Amoole said, that if cause and causes of a problem is not dealt with, we continue just to perambulate, go around and around and making stories and so on. It's a shame to most of us, especially those who are on the ground, that they are yet to find solution to problem of Nigeria, yet to find solution to basic things that Nigerians need. But they find solution that handful Nigerians have access to everything they want. Let's talk about the politicians or people who are in government and so on and so forth. And I'm sorry if I want to repeat this, that I'm not trying to provoke, I'm not trying to make Mr. Mohammed unhappy about my opinion. My opinion will remain my opinion. This is not the opinion of anybody. When I said it is unfortunate, 2021, that we find cows all over the place. And I mentioned places, schools, hospitals, even apart from the going to villages and destroying crops of innocent people, we're not talking, but it looks like in the process, the basic responsibilities of governance have been seriously neglected. And we're not going to end this discussion. We're not going to start finding solutions until when we go deep and deeper to causes. And one of the causes in this problem, in this problem, is issue of poverty. Hello, who want to challenge me that because we left poverty to such a deep level, how do you want to get intelligence support from a young person who has not eaten for the last 3-4 days? And from nowhere, a Boko Haram agent comes in and gives him 1,000 naira. Let us be real here. And who created that situation? Is it not when we have government in, we people think there's government is in place, but what's the government doing? We have situation when it is an average person. If you want to use the silly statistics that some people want to use, it doesn't bother me. 200 million. Who counted us? And all these 200 million, even 100 million, they're all governments on their own. What's the government of Nigeria doing since 1960? Let's use the latest year of self-governance. The situation is we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing in governance. And I generally don't want to care about whether the government, the president was from Southeast, Northeast, or whatever, as long as it delivers. I live in a place where government is central, not only serving the people.
All right, thank you. So in your opinion, the failure
poverty
of governance
is one of the biggest, and people neglect that. The government we have so far neglect that. And when somebody says there are cows all over the place, is that not the truth?
All right. Sorry, Dr. Mefor has just joined us. He's one of the late discussants. So I apologize to the person I've intended to take over from you. Dr. Mefor, please, let's hear from you.
Yeah. I'm sorry for my late entrance. I had some network challenges, which of course is part of the Nigerian life here. Those of you who are outside Nigeria may not understand it, but it's a big issue here. I had to move from location to location to be able to join this meeting. And I thank God I can be seen at least. And I hope I'm also being heard.
Yes, you're hearing you.
Yes, I had a few of the comments because I was late. But I understand the topic, the state of the nation and other issues. And what Otunba said, there is an aspect of what he said that really caught my attention, which is important to me, and I would want to start with that. He said that it doesn't matter to him who the leader is. The president, for example, could be anybody, insofar as he does certain things right. Yes, ordinarily, that's the ideal. But then, the Nigerian situation does not permit him to just think that anybody could just imagine and deliver a fair presidency for all components of Nigeria is a very important aspect he needs to re-examine. I will bring on one aspect to prove that he has to really take another look at his position. You see, Southeast, for example, is seriously marginalized. If you check the Constitution of Nigeria, particularly the 1999 Constitution, even as amended, to produce the president of Nigeria, you need 24 states and you need a simple majority. But 24 states particularly requires that indeed 4 regions will have to be working together. That's fine. But Southeast has only 4 states, only 5 states. And don't forget, Nigeria started as a tripod. And as a tripod, Nigeria has come to the point that Southeast, that was one of the tripods, is no longer a factor in anything. Well, for him, coming from the Southwest, he may be fairly taken care of. But for me, it's not good coming from the Southeast. It's very fundamental.
Dr. Mefor, my question to you is this, arising from what Mohammed said. So are you suggesting that the failure to properly include personnel from the Southeast in the security apparatus of the country has contributed directly or indirectly to the general breakdown in that region?
No, but obviously so. It's very clear. You see, listen, Nigeria is a country that is constructed based on colonialism, colonial intervention, and by extension, Nigeria is a nation put together by law. We are not organic. By that I mean, Nigeria did not just emerge as a natural order, as a natural monolith. We are not. We were brought together. 250 ethnic groups were brought together by force of colonialism, and thereafter by the laws they left behind. And since then, if you want to keep the country together, you need to really fashion laws that will make them stay together. Under the military, you can see that efforts are made, even by military, to ensure that North and South Nigeria are brought together. You have a military head of state, he will look for the chief of staff from the other part of the country. That has been the trend. And now you have a country where you have the entire security architecture, ignoring one of the tripods. The Southeast is not represented in the process. So if you have the Southeast completely excluded and their bluff called, and then the people feel endangered and all that, and nothing is done to address it, why will anybody not see that the problem is at least partly coming from the fact that they are excluded from what is going on?
All right,
I'm not trying to justify the violence and whatever, because we have not been able to prove who is responsible for what violence. But
we'll
I
come
think
back to that.
the politics of exclusion will have to be addressed if you want to have fairness and equity in the politics.
Okay, well, thank you. Marcel, do you agree with Dr. Lome for that the exclusion of the Southeast from the security apparatus in the country has somehow led to breakdown of security in the region?
Maz, that is very apparent even to the blind and to the deaf. So apparent. So let us look at it this way. A Security Council meeting is called, and we're discussing the security situation around the country. And then the issue of the Southeast security zone comes up. And then there's nobody from that zone to discuss the security situation of that zone. The last time when the governors, the Southeast governors met to activate Ibibago, we looked at the heads of security agencies that was at that meeting. None of them is from the Eastern region. It has not happened anywhere. How would someone else speak for you in your own region? Does that make sense? Again, I agree that Buhari is what he is. Remember my submission at first. I agree that Buhari is what he is. The Senate and the House of Reps that have refused to do their own oversight function, because when these names are sent to the National Assembly have a right to return them. When names of ministers are sent to the National Assembly has a right to return those names. If Buhari goes ahead to damn the National Assembly has a right to not approve the budget. So there are instruments of control to a tyrant. So if the constitution has been crafted in such a way that we expect that the president will one day become a tyrant, the constitution has also empowered the National Assembly and the House of Reps to be able to checkmate him. So why are they not doing it? And that has always been my point. Now, we are in this country when people were protesting on the street and they are being shot at. I mean, we all saw it. So, Dan, take for instance, you, Mohammed Alibaba, your mother and your sister and your father felt aggrieved, and they decide to join the protest in order to show the government that I am angry at what you have done. And then you at home, you heard that the military has shot them in the head. And then you saw all their pictures all over the social media. What would you do? How would you take it? And then that chapter just ends. Nobody talks about it, no investigation, nobody is held accountable, nothing. And then another set of people, and then another set of people, and then another set of people, and then another. When will it stop? At what point would we say it has to stop? So if a government thought that it has a monopoly of violence and that he can always use violence at any slightest provocation, you are just telling the citizens that they should also get violent.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Makanjuola now, please. Mr. Makanjuola, what do you think? You can unmute yourself.
My take on this contemporary topic of discussion is that why is it that Black people like to pretend as if nothing matters when fundamental proactive actions are supposed to be taken to resolve an issue that have remained unabated for a very long time by professing lasting solution to them? Why is it that Black people like to pretend that what was conceived for you out of bad will, not even good will, can be patched up, can be cosmetically, window dressed, probably because you want to seem to be politically correct, when it is obvious that the Nigerian concept are broken down? What we are seeing now as insecurity in the country is a pent-up anger of accumulated disappointment. Anger, what you call bottle-up anger, that is now being set loose on society by those who have, from a very long time, have seen themselves as rivals. The Nigerians are, when you say co-Nigerian, we are all Nigerians, you are being deceptive. When you say we are all Nigerians, you are being deceptive. All those terms are used to as a form of bamboozling and blackmailing people into their perpetual slavery status. How come do the people who move around with sticks in the 50s, in the 60s, now become insurgent and they are waging low-intensive civil war against other regions of the country, and the government could not do anything? Why is it difficult that a government...
Who are those, sorry, Mr. Makanjuola, who are those that are waging war against the other person?
The Fulani herdsmen and the Fulani nationalists. The Fulani from the whole of West Africa are the one waging low-intensive civil war against other ethnic nationalities in the country. I remember vividly, during the time of when Obasanjo was president, when Obasanjo decided to appoint the minorities in the Middle Belt into central government position, people from the north, these northern hegemonists, Fudua came out and said that the appointment that Obasanjo made was not from the main north. That he only appointed the minorities, Christians, into his government. That those people are not the true representative of northern part of Nigeria in a government that is supposed to be an amalgam of regional balancing. So that we are having insecurity now, especially in the Middle Belt and part of the South, was a crisis that was engineered by the oligarchy themselves, because the bulk of the fighters they brought in to come and stop Jonathan from being re-elected are those ones that have now distributed themselves all across the 4 geopoliticals in the country, and they are now like fighting very hard to make sure that they have access to people's land. But well, my own solution is this.
Okay, let's we will still. Sorry, Mr. Makanjuola, we'll still come back. We'll come back to the solutions in the next 10 minutes. I would like Dr. Onwuasoanya. We invited him to this discussion, but by the time we got him to confirm, we've already sent out the link. I believe he's here now, Dr. Onwuasoanya, and then I think FCC Jones. No, Dr. Onwuasoanya and Mohammed will still. I would like you to respond to this issue that Mr. Makanjuola have just raised, because he has now introduced another angle about the so-called foreign enhancement to the discussion. So please, Dr. Onwuasoanya and Mr. Alibaba Mohammed, I would like them to respond to that.
Okay, Dr. Onwuasoanya on the line.
Go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, I don't know. It's funny what he said, because I don't know if some of these reflections are some of the things I'm worried about Nigeria, stereotyping. I particularly was kidnapped, which you know, which a lot of people know, and it wasn't Fulani herdsmen that kidnapped me and kept me for 10 days in the bush. We are trying to stereotype. The criminals are making every effort to stereotype crime, and we are buying to it, and I don't accept that completely. So there's crime in the land, and there's insecurity. And this insecurity, someone just said, which I accept too, is mainly born out of poverty. And this poverty, as I know, is worse in the southeast and south side presently because of the dwindling revenue. Today, when you buy a bag of rice for 28,000 naira, you're probably empowering somebody who is living in Sokoto or Niger State or Katsina State, because we are not producing anything to eat. The last time I spoke about Nigerian insecurity, the view I had is the same view I'm still having now. That is that there is so much insecurity in the southeast presently because there is poverty. And this poverty is born out of the fact that we've been depending so much for so long on money circulating at the federal level. There has not been any form of production going on in the southeast for a very long time. There has been systemic neglect of the indigenous sources of living. Farming is almost at zero, except in some parts of Ebonyi State and the northern part of Kano State. And the revenues from the center we've been sharing, especially from oil, is almost not there again. So it's not surprising that it's happening. And then number two, like this person said, which I just said now, is about the stereotyping. I don't know why we stereotype crime. This issue of insecurity has been brewing. People are just holding on to it now to come on. In fact, I had somebody say something now, Dr. Mefor, when he said that the entire region of the southeast, he has been mistaking southeast for eastern zone of old. And that it worries me, because when this thing comes from a section of the eastern region, it brings up some level of discontent. When some person starts against a position and you feel that it doesn't belong to the eastern zone, unless when it comes to the southeast, then I worry. Because if we must move together, if we must fight the issues of, if we must talk about Nigeria, if we must have something on southeast extraction, which you acknowledge, we need at least 4 zones. And if we can't acknowledge that the people from the eastern region, includes those from the south-south, save probably 2 states, and those from the southeast, then you'll be creating a problem that's difficult to solve. So when the security apparatus of Nigeria is structured, and somebody in the southeast, in south-south, has we have 4. I mean, like in the Nigerian defense, we have 4, and the south has 2, the south-north has 2, and one come from the south-south, especially an Igbo-speaking part of South, and you just remove it completely. Then later, when you come to them and say you want to work together, it becomes difficult to achieve that, because you already secluded that person and his people. This person believes that he's part of you, and you're telling him, "Oh, I'm from the eastern, I'm from the southeast, and the southeast used to be one of the 3 pods, and this person is not part of the 3 pod." So basically, what I have to respond to this is that I don't agree in any way that the cause of this thing is mainly the issue of balancing of security architecture. But one thing I have to point out is that
in this security architecture too, I don't know why the governors are not insisting that there should be some representative of this thing, like in the commissioners of police in the south. If you look at the structure of the commissioners of police in the southeast, you'll be worried. The entire southeast has presently constituted. I don't think there's one single Igbo man that's the commissioner of police, and that doesn't need. I don't think it needs just the president to do that, because some of these governors sometimes even ask for the commissioners they get. So the issue of poverty must be addressed. We must start looking at poverty. Somebody who is hungry will listen to anything you say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't think Alibaba is here. I had intended him to make his point at this discussion. So please, I shouldn't be the only person asking question. I think all our guests have now, the lead discussants have given two contributions now. So let's take a question from the audience now, or contribution. Please don't make it not more than 2 minutes. Let's start from Kasmia Chinon. So please, Kasmia Wafo, your name is on top. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello, Dan. I've made only one contribution, so let that be noted.
Okay. Once you ask this question, then we come to you, Doctor. Yeah, Kasmia.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks the guests and the participants. I think our major problem, if I ask my question, is Ali has gone. I was asking about the issue of cow he raised. The person that raised the issue of cow is not saying that the cow have not been moving before this government. But what he's saying is that the audacity of the herdsmen to harass the entire Nigeria has not been this brutal in the other regimes. Why is it this brutal under Buhari regime? That's the question I want to ask him, but he's not here. So moving ahead, I will say that on the issue, the last speaker was talking about the issue of South. I don't think he understood exactly the point, Dr. Onwuasoanya, what Mefor was saying. We are not saying that because the appointment did not include any Southeasterner. There are many security appointments we're talking about. We have the issues of we have the customs, we have the immigration, we have the civil defense, we have a lot of security agencies. None is headed by a Southeasterner. None. So when Elombah was appointed as the CDS, yes, he's a South, but of an Igbo. I know Haneze sent him a congratulatory letter. So we're not discriminating against Elombah appointment. We're talking about the general appointment of security apparatus, where the Southeast is not included in one, is very appalling. It's not only appalling, it's very annoying. And when you talk about the present security challenges we have in the country, when the leader, when the commander-in-chief, by his body language, is supporting a particular terrorizing section of the country, then you don't tell me that other people should fold their hands and worship. So the entire problem borders on the president, the mentality of the president, the body language of the president, his political will to address security challenges in Nigeria. He is zero, poorly performing in terms of addressing the security situation. If he was able to attack, I mean, be a kind of hold his people together. If you look at the level where this is started, from the Boko Haram release of some people say that have been repented, those guys moved into herdsmen, moved into bandits. They don't even call them terrorists, they call them bandits, insurgents, misguided fellows. But if you come to other regions, you will now go there to shoot them with the AK-47 and DPMG. My friend, it cannot work. You must be fair to all regions. If you are clamping on insecurity in any region, it should be spread across the entire region. The way you pick some regions to favor and protect, and then pick some regions to attack, you are just starting the war that you cannot finish. You're just starting the war that you cannot finish. So, all the same, I won't say anything about poverty. Poverty has been there. Poverty has been there from Buhari, from Goodluck to Obasanjo. It is not just poverty, it is the ability of the president to lead, to give order, to give instructions, to command. Obasanjo, nobody tried this nonsense.
Group Captain Moafo, we will come back to you, yes, especially when we want to talk about the solution. So let's, before we go to Dr. Mefor, please. Sir Augustine Ike has been raising up his hand for a while. So let's not continue ignoring him. Then we go to Dr. Mefor. So Augustine, please, are you able to unmute yourself? Just 2 minutes, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just have a different view of this insecurity issue. Hello?
Yeah, go on.
I have a different view on this insecurity issue. In as much as I agree with most of the discussants on the overflowed attempt to be too ethnic conscious by our elected leaders. I also believe that as it is now, any other attempt to force in the security, like the Imo State governor did, will lead to a very brutal end. Because I can confidently say that the situation we are now, that our solution requires security, but not armed security. Dan, you live in London, right? And yeah. I want to bet that maybe for the past 6 months, you have not seen gun. You have not seen a police officer carrying gun. Nigerian security must understand that security supersedes bearing of arms. Okay? They said intelligent gathering, fine, is one of them. But security have superseded bearing of arms. There is a need for us to redesign our security. But before then, there is something I believe that is very pressing. That which is very pressing is what you are doing now. We need the time that Jonathan held a national confab, there was no need for it. I want it to be that one of the resolutions of this TV program is that we need an emergency national confab. This is time we have issues, need them at the board. Because I want to be functional, but it exceeded our elastic limits. We need to go back to drawing board.
That's a very fair point, if you ask me. Now is the time to convene the national conference, because now that it is needed. Dr. Mefor, do you agree with the last two submissions? If you took note, what do you want to say? Jonathan's confab was not necessary, but it is now necessary according to the last speaker. What do you think?
Well, I think that the last speaker made a very fundamental point that we need to revisit the conference. But for me, it's not just the conference, it is the conferences. We have 3 conference reports. Jonathan's report is just one. There are we have 2 others before his. We don't need a fresh conference. You will mess up everything. If the president is interested in restructuring Nigeria, all he needs to do is to set up a technical committee to review the 3 conferences and tease out the essential details, find their sets of commonalities, and arrive at a synthesis that can be implemented. But there is a problem. Our president does not believe in restructuring for obvious reasons. The president of Nigeria does not believe in restructuring because he is not really inclined to nationalism. He is pressing home, confirming, reaffirming, reinforcing the advantage enjoyed by his region. This is my position, and I stand to be corrected. I've said this everywhere. The president does not want, he doesn't really want to restructure. And he said that much even here and there. What he is doing by his policies is pressing home the advantage of the northern divide of the country. That's the truth. And I'll give you one clear example here. In the wee months of the Jonathan presidency, he set up a committee on the headers farmers conflict, how to bring that to a logical conclusion in terms of finding a lasting solution. He made, Jonathan, made Suswan, governor of Benue then, the chairman of that committee. They were working, then the election of 2015 held, they couldn't conclude their work. Ask this government what happened to the Suswan report. They didn't even receive it. And then that brings us to something. Do you really blame Buhari for all these things? I don't. Buhari never came in based on restructuring. Buhari does not need restructuring. Buhari has never told you he wanted restructuring. He never did. I blame Jonathan. I blame Obasanjo. I blame the two for the problem of Nigeria and for the problem of Southern Nigeria particularly. That's the truth. You know, we keep massaging things. We don't want to address issues the way they are. Jonathan called the 2014 confab. He had 1 whole year to implement it. In his confab report, you know, were contained well over 600 recommendations. Only about 100 and something of them required constitutional amendment or National Assembly intervention. The rest, more than 70% of the recommendations could be addressed administratively. Did Jonathan address one? So why do we blame Buhari, who never wanted restructuring, to restructure? So I don't blame him if he doesn't restructure. But if I were him, I would restructure, and I will tell you why in a nutshell. I would restructure because that would make him the true founding father of Nigeria. I dare Buhari to restructure. If he restructures, he will be better than Jonathan, he will be better than Obasanjo, he will be better than all of them put together. But if he does not restructure, he will end in the same dustbin of history as the rest of the presidents of Nigeria before him. That's the truth.
All right.
Let's call things by their proper names.
All right. We thank you very much. We don't have, we'll soon go back to all our late discussants to give their comments from what we have had so far. But please, let's take this question from Monday before we get to that, please. Monday, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, people. My name is Dr. Monday Oshokbo. I live in California. So I came into this meeting a bit late. But what I saw on the WhatsApp group where the meeting was posted is that we are looking at IPOB, Oduduwa nations, and insecurity in Nigeria. So based on that, I just want to make a few comments because it is not news that the security in Nigeria is really bad right now, and we cannot really separate the poor insecurity situation in Nigeria from the president. The reason a lot of the speakers have said a lot of those reasons, but there are some statements that the president has made at different times and some body languages in his response to some of allegations on his ministers, his workers, employees, and also his style of appointment in security and other things. For example, immediately after the 2015 election, the president made a statement about favoring 95 to the 5 who did not give him a vote. I would have thought that a president once elected becomes the president of all and not a sectional president. Even if you want to be a sectional president, there is no point making such a statement of divide where some people are seen as though they did not, because they did not vote for you, they now become second citizen in the land where, in their father's land. That is point number one. Then point number two, we saw very recently, as a matter of fact, Dr. Patami has been on the news for some very dangerous statement he made when he was about 32 years. And the presidency ought to have responded such that the people will feel they have some level of trust in the government once again. But instead, what did they do? They said that he made the statement when he was young. You see, and that is not true. Again, making Nigerians look like fools. That guy was 32 as at when he made the statement. Of course, at 32, you're not a kid. And we are facing serious problem of insurgency in the country. And we have someone who has made such a statement in government, and the presidency is shielding him. Okay? So, and issues of appointments. We know that some of those appointments are not backed by the Constitution, even though the president is allowed to appoint people using his executive powers. It is sensitive for any president who believes in national unity to have diverse appointments. It is because he has not made appointments that are diverse, then we see people agitating that, oh, this is supposed to be a multi-ethnic country. Why do we have all the appointment coming from the north? Is it that we don't have people from other parts of the country that can do these jobs? So you find out that there are issues that the president is not addressing the way he ought to. His body language keeps making people feel that he is, if in fact, part and parcel of some of the issues that are going on in Nigeria. How can a president, okay, during the Obasanjo regime, in Lagos, there was OPC issue. There was OPC issue. OPC was rioting and killing people. What did Obasanjo say? Obasanjo said, shoot aside. Obasanjo, remember, is from the Yoruba ethnic group. You do not, you cannot say because the Northern Fulanis are from your ethnic background, then you cannot come out to rebuke their actions and make proper arrests and make sure trials are conducted in the court and people go to jail. We saw how some of those Boko Haram were arrested and they were later.
All right. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you very much. We may come back to you before we conclude, but that time is now moving away from us. So let's go back to our lead discussants. We have had contributions from Monday now, and from also some of our listeners, and from other lead discussants. Let's start from Otunba, and then one by one, we hear all of you. So far, what have we been able to take from this discussion tonight, and where do we go from here? Otunba, let's start from you, please.
Thank you again very much, Dan. And I also want to say thank you to everybody that so far contributed to this discussion of tonight. Again, I'm sorry, I don't want to be repetitive because I realize that some people are more versed in education than we probably am. I only have a degree in law and political science, and I don't want to start saying that should be an hindrance for me to understand. And also, I have a problem. The problem I have is every time I make reference to this, some people like it, some people do not like it. I've been in a country, a civilized country, let me put it that way, for the last 51 years. And I can feel how governance have impacted in my life. And at the age of 74, that I feel at home that basic things are given to me without using any connection. So when I now want to translate that or ask myself, when I left Nigeria in 1970, believing that might be get a better education outside the country, luckily I got it. But we're not dealing with the causes. We're not talking about the causes. The causes are all majorly is issue of poverty, bad governance. Now, and I believe the president has advisors. How can all the advisors, people say this talk to stop at his desk? Why will our president 2021 having problem of governing? He's not alone. Most of the policies that have been designed, arranged, and so on are from some of the advisors who are highly educated. But the problem is, we do not want to be virtual, we don't want to be honest with ourselves. The point I'm making is, poverty is the main cause of our problem. And we have a government or governments, both local, states and federal, not dealing with it. You and I should be fighting for, we should stand up and talk about it. Look at our children, answers. They thought enough is enough. They stood up and say, we're going to start arguing. The issue of policing. In UK, there are about 40 different levels, layers for policing. We agree it has to be central. Why do we agree to everything that centrality of policies will impact, will affect governance in Southeast and Southwest? And when I alluded to, I don't really say, why should I start saying president must be from this and from that? If we have a good governance, if we implement some of the policies we have in place, we should be talking about something else. We should be talking about how soon are we going to go to moon. But when you look at the depth of corruption that is present in our polity, in our country, it is damning. It is very, very bad. Thank you. I think romancing, somebody used that word, romancing the situation in such a way, in that manner, is not going to help us. We need to be real. We need to be real and start talking about bad governance. And bad governance is, you and I are probably contributing to it, because we're not standing up to fight corruption. Thank you. Most of the money meant for police, who are the people stealing them? Isn't that the police, the IGP and all that kind of thing? Can we remember that billions
Otunba,
of,
thank you.
Yeah,
let's take
was stealing by Tafa?
Okay, let's
and some other people.
Otunba, thank you very much. Okay, Otunba, let's hear from Mohammed Alibaba next.
Thank you, sir.
Your network will disappoint you. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Can you now hear me?
Yes.
So I had to go to the mosque. I'm just coming out now.
Oh, that's fine.
So I mean, I agree. But I'm glad that Otunba actually also traced the genesis, because my point is, so long as we don't go to the roots of these problems, we will never get solution if we are merely focusing on the symptoms. For instance, I'm back to this issue of the cows. Consistently, since I can remember, everyone should check the budget for agriculture. How much has ever been dedicated to the livestock sector? Every year, the budget of humongous amounts of money for subsidized fertilizer, subsidized input, rural access road, dams, irrigation scheme for crop agriculture. But this other aspect of agriculture has been totally neglected. There is no human being that doesn't like comfort in his life. There is no way, if these herders have, what they call a provision of food and water in a grazing reserve, they will move. No human being wants to suffer himself. So evidently, the root cause is that they have been neglected and they have been left to their own design. Part of the blame I trace to the PRP era, in the Second Republic, because PRP was the party that abolished cattle tax. And cattle tax was the basis, the only connection that those herders had with the government, because since the government would tax them, they were interested on where they stay and some part of their welfare. But since then, these people have been left to their own design in the bush. There is no formal governmental connection with them, so nobody knew what was happening. And the same way that the young ones have abandoned crop production and left it to the old men and the children, that is how even herding has been left to old men who are now tired, and the children cannot control it, and then hence this forest. And then, of course, the collapse of governmental institutions, the cattle routes, the grazing reserve have been taken over by the top echelons of the society, and then they've been left to their own designs. The ancient system they knew is what they've been left to do. So that is what compares them. So if we truly, and unfortunately, when the issue of National Livestock Program and the Ruga came, people rose in stout
opposition, largely out of sentiments.
Mr. Mohammed, let me ask you this.
Because I'm in that.
Mr. Mohammed, let me ask you this question, please.
Yeah.
The violence now between herdsmen, or that is attributed to herdsmen in some areas, do we have those type of violence when Olusegun Obasanjo, for example, Yar'Adua, Jonathan, were in government, so that we'll situate it in this proper context? What do you think?
Of course, they have always been there. I'm involved in both sides of the family, but this violence is exacerbated by 1, climate change, 2, population explosion, 3, increasing interest in agriculture. So people who have taken over some of the grazing routes, they've taken over the grazing reserves, and then of course, like I told you, due to neglect, these people have to move. They have to fend for their cattle. They have always been there.
Are you able to give us? I'm very, very interested in this subject. Are you able to give us examples of grazing reserves that the herdsmen were formerly using? I'm not putting you on the spot, if you don't mind, but if you don't know, we can.
No,
but I just want to know.
Listen, only 3 days ago. No, I agree with you. 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I'm part of those championing the establishment of Hay and Fodder Association. When we went to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, we were told there are 415 designated grazing reserves, mainly in the north, in this country, and 114 of them are gazetted. So it's the government that have abandoned. If they had concentrated, in fact, part of the northern agricultural vision of Sardauna is that no live cow should pass Mokwa, and that's why we have that Mokwa Ranch. The Mokwa Ranch was established by the Germans in the 50s. There's even a helipad there. There is a state-of-the-art abattoir there. In fact, even ABU veterinarians used to come there for practice. All these have been abandoned. So collapse of governmental institutions are at the roots. Like I said, if we go to the root, we'll find these solutions. Now, the Niger State government and a few governments are already revitalizing those grazing reserves, and they are available. For instance, like I was saying, the neglect of livestock. On the average, it is reported that the average cow in Europe is entitled to $5 subsidy or £5. Now, there's hardly any such contribution, but humongous amounts are dedicated to the agricultural sector. And most of them is for, contract for fertilizer or seeds or agri inputs. So these are the roots. And so long as we don't address the roots, by the time this, grazing reserves are rehabilitated, it's an opportunity. Just this evening, I was reviewing the economics of production, what it costs to produce a hectare, and the benefits that will be, in fact, on the average, if we are not careful, by the time that value chain is fully fixed, I tell you, we have problem of food scarcity, because people will be migrating to the production of grass for cattle because of the economics of returns. So these are things we'll focus on and at the roots. But most importantly, part of this insecurity, I'm convinced, is traceable to that melee of corruption. My feeling is that the military has never had it so good since they lost power in 1999. So, and the humongous kind of resources they have been cornered. Have we not been reading about mutiny by ordinary soldiers? Even ordinary allowances that these our gallant soldiers on the battlefront are supposed to receive doesn't get to them. Yet trillions have already been dedicated to that. And of course, listening to the government, you see how the top echelon are acquiring properties and whatever all over the place. So corruption is at the root of some of these issues. So like I said, once we cannot face up to the roots and we continue to harp on sentiments, then we won't get there. And then
I always appreciate your perspective, Mr. Mohammed, and we can listen to you all day. I find it very, very interesting listening to this angle, but I'm afraid we have to move forward so that other contributors will make their own contribution.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Fcc Jones.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Dan. I think we are all mostly in agreement about the fact that the major cause of insecurity in Nigeria is failure of the political class to give us good governance. Because when we talk about corruption, when we talk about poverty, when we talk about abandonment of the police force, and when we talk about restructuring, nobody will be talking about restructuring if everybody is given a good sense of belonging. If people at various levels of government use the resources of the people to work for the people, and there is infrastructure, there is good electricity, there are jobs for people to work, and everyone wakes up from his house in the morning and is sure that if he looks for a job and he's capable of doing a job, he will get one. Nobody will be talking about the political structure in the country. But because there is a failure of governance, because our political class has failed us, we continue to go into explore these options that may not be easily practicable because like Dr. Mefor said, he said that Buhari will be putting his name, writing his name in gold if he is able to achieve restructuring within the 2 years he has left to be in power. But I do not see how practicable that is within 2 years because restructuring is not something that comes with a blow or with merely wishing it, because before he can restructure, there needs to be a bill to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly needs to go around the country maybe for a referendum or whatever other processes are required, or procedures are required before the restructuring happens. So it's not something that can happen within Buhari's tenure, I think. For me, I think some of the immediate actions that need to be taken to ensure that, or to reduce the spate of insecurity in the country at the moment is for the federal government, those at the helm at the federal government, to pursue policies that give every Nigerian, no matter where they come from, no matter their religion, no matter their tribe, a sense of belonging, a sense of nationhood. Where I am an Igbo man, I understand that the federal government is not meant for the Fulani, where even if I am Fulani, I do not see the Igbo man as being a meddlesome interloper in what happens or what concerns Nigeria. Jobs should be created for the Nigerian youths. Monies appropriated for projects should be transparently applied to those projects. For instance, in the last 1 year since the COVID-19 pandemic, trillions or billions of naira have been budgeted, have been appropriated, or have been approved as loans for small-scale businesses, as a stimulus package to people who are running businesses or to families. For instance, for some of you who live in the United States of America, one of the biggest economic packages in the history of the United States of America came within this period of the COVID-19 pandemic, where about $1.9 trillion was voted to help families and businesses and citizens of the United States of America manage the problems arising from the COVID-19 pandemic. So you cannot watch or abandon citizens to their fate without guidance, without leadership, and expect them to be happy. I do not think there is any reasonable Nigerian who likes what is happening in the country in the area of insecurity. But a lot of people are just too helpless that they cannot but support or give tacit support or just keep quiet and say, man, if the country wants to go to places, let it go, because they are tired. Their leaders are not giving them good reasons to continue to believe in Nigeria. Some of those who are giving tacit support through silence or even through what they say to these people who are causing trouble across the country are not doing that because they want the country to burn, but because they have been pushed to a point where they are helpless, where they cannot do any other thing but to say, to leave everything to fate, whatever happens. So these are, provide employment for the youth, show a sense of transparency in the running of government. Some of our political leaders steal our money and rub it on our faces.
All right, we will.
Obvious that they are richer than us, their children squander our wealth, while people who are a lot more talented, who are a lot more educated, live in poverty. That's annoying enough. So some of these things are things that need to be handled with a sense of emergency. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We'll still, the discussion continues. Next, before we take further comments from our listeners, let's finish with our lead discussants, Mr. Makanjuola, and then Marcel. Then we take questions from other people in the meeting. Sorry? Mr. Makanjuola? Can you unmute yourself, sir?
If I don't have any further contribution, I would like to exit now.
Hello?
Why not?
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Now, now we have gotten to the position where we have to talk about the solution to all this unending crisis and insecurity. From our own hand, we the Yorubas have concluded that we are opting out of Nigeria. No amount of conferences and seminars and programs and whatever can bring us back. There is an existing resolution from the part of the Southwest. If you can observe, there have been series of rallies going on now within the Yoruba nation, home and abroad, people insisting that we want a sovereign Yoruba nation. We have discovered that it is better for us to resolve our own problems as a nationality. That after all, our forebears never knew Nigeria, and they are where they've been living before the white man came. From 1960 till when Buhari became president, there have not been any attempt by any other ethnic group in Yoruba territory to come and attack our people and kill us in the farm and unleash poverty scourge on our people. So the solution from our own perspective is that we the Yorubas are forging ahead, demanding for a United Nations supervised referendum, that we don't want anything to do with any part of Nigeria anymore. It's not a matter of cosmetic pretension that we can make Nigeria work. We don't want near sloganeering or where we descend to the level of near academic. We have become practical and we are determined to tell the whole world that if you look at the members of the United Nations, there are countries in UN which land, which territory and population is not as vast as the Yoruba people. So we have resolved that it is better we stay on our own. If any northern love a Yoruba man so much, they can extend business among themselves and pay themselves regular visits. It has something to do with the Yoruba consciousness and our quest for us to be free. We cannot continue to pretend and bury our head in the ostrich. We cannot pretend and bury our head in the ostrich. Whether the political class like it or not, whether they are foreign friends, who are their backers, who have allowed massive corruption practices to have lingered on for so many years, have nothing to do with our resolution. Whether if you are talking about restructuring, the government of Nigeria, right from the announcement of June 12, had gotten the opportunity to restructure Nigeria. But we Yoruba have resolved by 2014, the reason that brought us together, coincidentally by accident of history, have expired. We don't want anybody to come and preach unity to us. We don't want anybody to come and tell us reform. We don't want any kind of restructuring. We don't want police reform. We don't want anything. We want our space. We want our geographical space for us to stay as a sovereign state. With over 70 million population on abroad, we can function very well. We can secure ourselves. Our language are the same. Our territory are the same. Our norms and values, our worldview, our humanity are the same. So if those who love Nigeria so much, with their quest for reforms and melodrama, pretension and deceit, can go ahead speaking grammar and speaking whatever. We Yoruba have resolved that we can defend ourselves, we can protect ourselves, we can secure ourselves, we can develop ourselves, we can modernize ourselves. That is the best way we want to go. Thank you very much.
We thank you. Please, Marcel, before we come back to you, can we listen to, and Dr. Mefor, please don't go. Don't go, please. Can we listen to Otunba to find his opinion on this idea of a Yoruba nation?
Thank you very much, Dan. Again, for me, I want to subscribe to the last speaker. And on the basis of the facts before all of us, some of us, especially the one or two discussants, alluded to issue of the 2014 National Conference. I happened to be in Nigeria then, that's about 7 years ago. And I always say to my friends and family, it might be amazing, that I got stuck there for 10 months thinking things are going to work out. And today I feel like I was in prison for 10 years. It was terrible for me. And like I said, the problem I have is because I've seen other climb, I've seen other opportunities. I've seen governance in other part of the world. Yes, if it's taking us 60 years, and it's also a shame that the people that took over from the forefathers, we are unable to come together. And that's why at my initial presentation, I suggested that most of us need to go back to the lab. We need to go back to take our mindset to the lab, that even if our forefathers made some mistakes, how much efforts have we put together to fix this problem? We have not. The record is there. We only like to be going round and round and round because some of us want to benefit from these corrupt settings. So if Yoruba people come around and say, we have we have good reasons to know, you know what, we cannot continue, especially when we're talking about the Constitution of 1999, that it has now been found out, you are a legal person like me, that we found out that this Constitution was put together fraudulently. And I remember that there are two major actors that put this Constitution, Professor Onwuasoanya and Williams. They now come out to say sorry to the whole country, that we made a mistake, and the mistake we made was to have made the central government so powerful. That did not help, the cause of good governance in Nigeria. But the point I'm making now is that if Yoruba people now say, enough is enough, how can we have so many highly intelligent people? And I'm not trying to restrict it to any part of the country. Northern have got many intelligent people, Southeast, South, or whatever. But if we cannot continue to be in a contraption that we seems to be retarded, that we cannot fix. So if Yoruba people say we want to go, then I don't think they're asking for too much. And especially, and I think we are now looking back unnecessarily, because here we have a situation where Yoruba people have put in a legal arrangement to divorce themselves. So discontinue with that contracted 1999 Constitution. The first majority is there. We have waited. There wasn't any challenge. And as far as I'm concerned, that is done. Yeah, lawyer, done. We did not challenge that. And then the second verse is now creating awareness, because the last part of this application will be to ask for United Nations to carry it a referendum. Also, believing is they just want to make trouble for others.
All right.
How many years have everybody saying, let us restructure, let us restructure? They did not. Because
Dr. Mefor, okay, thank you, Otunba, please. Sorry. Dr. Mefor, do you think that restructuring is now too late, that it's time for Oduduwa, Biafra, and some of these nationalist agitations?
I am for a fully restructured Nigeria. That is where I stand. I think it's the best for everybody. Fully restructured Nigeria. Let me summarize what I mean by fully restructured Nigeria. Going back to the Nigeria that our founding fathers agreed to with Britain in 1957, Constitutional Conference, 1959, and captured in the Independence Constitution and perfected in 1963 Republican Constitution. That is what I want, personally. We can dismember Nigeria. I don't have no problem with that. If Biafra, I am an Igbo man. I am a Biafran, geographically. Every Igbo man is a Biafran. It doesn't matter what you think of you. You're a Biafran. I don't mind Biafra, but I don't want Biafra by design. I want Biafra by default. I want Biafra that is imposed. That means Biafra has become inevitable because restructured Nigeria has failed. That was the challenge Nnamdi Kanu gave me. I met Nnamdi Kanu in Umuahia. He told me that restructuring Nigeria was not possible. That under a Fulani hegemony, that restructuring Nigeria was not possible.
Hello.
And I think that is the issue. If restructuring Nigeria is not possible, then breaking Nigeria becomes inevitable. It's very simple. You know, as an Igbo man, I cannot survive in a polity where I am enslaved by my culture, by my orientation, by my life. You know, it's not possible for me to live in a country where I have no freedom. I am a Republican by orientation, by nature, by culture, by birth. Now, look at my final submission. Having said all this, I listened to our discussants, my co-discussants. They keep talking about corruption, poverty, and all this. That is not the issue. Let them know that the problem of Nigeria is structure. The structure of Nigeria is what has produced corruption. Is the structure of Nigeria that has produced poverty. We didn't have poverty in the 60s when the Southwest and Southeast were the fastest growing economies in the world. It's because the structure allowed it. So if you restructure Nigeria to restore Nigeria to where we were before the war, Nigeria will get back again. I still believe it's better for everybody to get back together. If the Yorubas want to go, it's up to them. If the Igbos want to go, it's up to them. But if I have a vote, I will vote against it. I will vote for dismemberment of Nigeria only on one condition, that restructuring is not possible, is not allowed. The last line, before you cut me off. See, I believe that, look, Nigeria is a project that is beyond Nigerians. Africans want to see Nigeria work. What we need is to be left alone to sort out our problems. The Fulani headsmen in Nigeria that we have lived with have brought in their colleagues. They have kings from all over Africa, from Timbuktu, from Tuaregs, from Maghreb, from all over Africa, and they brought them in here as mercenaries. So when my brother, I can't remember his name now, was talking about grazing routes, he's not addressing the issue.
Okay.
We never had problems. Look, listen, Dan, just 1 second about this.
Okay.
I want to address what my friend said. I can't remember his name now.
Mr. Mohammed.
He said, you said?
Mr. Alibaba Mohammed.
Alibaba Mohammed, said there is a problem of grazing routes. No, it's a problem. The problems we're facing on a Fulani headsmen and the farmers in Nigeria, they are threefold. Let me tell you, the land mass of Nigeria, 70% of the land mass of Nigeria is in the north. Why are they pushing south? Why can't they establish, ranches in the north where they have the land? Water? Do you know there is a policy that is going on now that is called recharging the Lake Chad? The Lake Chad lake is being recharged. That means water is being pumped into it from other sources. If you can pump water into Lake Chad, why can't you provide irrigation for ranching all over the north? Because there is no land anywhere in the southeast, for example. You are from Anambra, I'm from Anambra myself, and they know it. So why are they insisting on allowing their cattle to graze where they may? They know what they are doing. It's not about grazing. It is about expansionism. It is about taking over lands. That is what our people are. That's what our people are resisting. That is what the insecurity is about. That is what will continue until they are ready to address the basic realities of Nigeria. The Nigerian nation state is built on falsehood. Britain is one of our major problems. Britain offered the IPOB and other Biafran agitators what they call asylum. Britain is not what IPOB needs. It's not what Biafran agitators need. What they need is restructuring in Nigeria or a referendum. You either restructure Nigeria or you give the Southeast referendum. And tell my brother Adigun that lives in another country. He said he found Nigeria a contraction after staying here. He's staying in another country built by men like him. Tell him I challenge him to return to Nigeria and let us build this country together. Let us dismember Nigeria. He should lead from the front. If he wants dismemberment of Nigeria, he must return to this country and let us agree to dismember or remember Nigeria. If we don't do that, this country will collapse with him not even having a leeway to see his father's land.
That's
Let's face reality.
That's a very deep thought. Before we finally take your final submission, before we go, let's take these hands raised up, and then we start from Marcel for our concluding thoughts. Chilezie BN Onwuasoanya, please. Is that the Chief Onwuasoanya, you know, another one? Please mute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Oh, okay. Chief, welcome.
Yes, I thank everybody for contributing, bringing ideas together, some heading ideas, one after the other, and solutions. That is what is called pure democracy. I love it. And I thank you also, Elombah. Thank those people who attended and who are interested to discuss the problem of Nigeria. That is how to rebuild a nation. I will make a little contribution in support of the comments based with so many individuals. There's language I always use. No peace without security. It has a lot of meaning. It's very elastic. Poverty in Nigeria is number one. Ignorant of old past recycled politicians. Number two, both the present. Buhari or even me, who is aspirant for 2023, I cannot change or rebuild Nigeria alone. It is not possible. Without the contribution of people, how they stay together now, talking. There have been referendum, there have been policies like people made, both Obasanjo, both Jonathan. They did not implement anything. The problem of Nigeria is accumulated things coupled with pandemic that we are suffering the worldwide. The highest economy in the world, United States of America, have lost almost 40-something to 50% of their economy. The same thing here in Western world, in UK, where we here, they have waste more than 500 billion pounds a year plus now. You and me knows about that. It contributes, but we Nigerians have a lot to do here contribute by creating jobs for people. Poverty, because people don't know the value of life. That's create all those things. We need to think about it. I support people who said, I believe in one Nigeria. I'm coming for one Nigeria. But if every individual, there are some states, there are some countries in Europe, which is not up to 2 million. They build a country, but in peaceful. I cannot help and support agitation with killing ourselves and buying weapons. Even the security, there's no amount of arms Nigeria will import to create security without creating jobs. That's the most ultimate thing. Because people who are hungry, who are aggressive, they don't know the value of life.
Thank you. Thank you very much, please, but because of time, we'll soon be running off.
That is why I said, I know I thank you people and how you people allow me to make a little contribution. I apologize being late because some of you might notice that I'm on the way as I was talking.
Okay, we thank you.
Next time, I don't think I will be late. Thank you all for your contribution. I believe with this movement, it will be okay. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. TO, this hand-raised TO, that's not the full name, but we allow you. Can you unmute yourself and quickly, and then we go back to our late discussants. There are people who have spoken before to give their final concluding comments of 1 minute. But please, TO, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think one thing, I mean, Nigeria is evident to everybody that the country is disorganized. It's showing all the signs of a failed state, and everybody gravitates towards a solution, which I think has not been thought through. And this is going back to restructuring and back to some kind of regional regional setup equivalent to what we had in '66. Now, I think that's a dream, and we all hope it comes through. As an Igbo man, I would like Biafra. As a Yoruba man, you want Oduduwa Republic. But Nigeria has matured or progressed or advanced beyond very simplistic divisions and going back to that default 1966 setup. I think even now, if you wanted to break to restructure, and many people see restructuring as a regional basis, maybe going back to a 4 region or maybe 6 based on the geopolitical zones. Some other people will say it should be 8, a middle belt should be included, so you have 8 or 9 geopolitical zones. The thing I find out is that it seems like it's the Yoruba and the Igbo people who seem to be pushing these agitations for restructuring and then defaulting back to the regional structure that nobody has really thought through. Like when you have a regional structure, how is it going to work? Is the East going to have a capital in Enugu in charge of the whole Eastern region? Is Ibadan going to be the capital of the Midwest? So, you know, we need to think these things through, and maybe we need to start. The first things I think we need to do is to get more tribal nationalities into the equation. I think the Ijaw people are up in arms about what they really want. It seems like the Kanuri people are the same. Well, you need to get the nationalities, the spokesmen for the other tribes, the Biram, the
All right, thank
Tiv.
you.
And so I think that's a missing equation that we need to get into. And nobody can discount, I'm sorry, but I need to get this in, poor governance. Many of these issues, the problem, I mean, we all dream for a republic, but I think poor governance, and I think as we wait for maybe Nigeria to keep on going down this road and a violent disruption, we need to start putting things in place to steer this affairs of the state, like with the coming elections. Either no elections hold, or we make sure that the right people get into place. If you get the right person in place and you enforce the laws, it's not rocket science. So I think we need to start working on forming groups with tangible objectives or clear-cut objectives. Maybe a group for elections to make sure we get the right people in place, or, you know, poor governance. What exactly is the poor governance about? Is it that Fulani herdsmen have not been arrested? Is it that there's insecurity? We need state police. So we need to be very specific as opposed to just griping like a woman that doesn't know what she wants to do or what the problem is. So I rest on that note, and I thank everybody for joining in.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your submissions. Mr. Marcel, can we get back to you now? You can also use this submission to make a concluding comment, because we may not be able to come back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, let's make this clear. Poverty is not our problem. So anybody thinking poverty is our problem, to just take it out. Nigerians have the capability to raise, develop, build, and make money. So poverty is not our problem. So let's take that out. Secondly, cow business is a private business. Okay, so waiting for government to come and build ranch for you is, to me, either you are not ready to do business, or, and I also think that private people should probably get into the cow business, innovate that business, and let's stop it. I have been a victim of a cow aggression right there in Abuja. In my house, the guy took the cow right into my compound. I have not fenced them. The little vegetables I planted, the cows ate it up. And when I came to talk to him, the next thing he pulls off a knife. I had to restrain myself and, play mature, and then he left. And then I had to raise money to fence my house immediately. So imagine what is happening to all other places. So if I have a property and somebody comes in, the person is the aggressor, okay? He violates my right to me having my place. And the government has not addressed that issue. They keep calling it farmers' headers conflict. It's because it's favoring one group who's probably is in power, but that issue needs to be addressed. Now, someone that says that Buhari cannot restructure this country in 2 years is a liar. And I want to ask the person, how long does it take for the Senate to activate the doctrine of necessity? If you want to restructure this country, you simply speak to the governors. The governors, as we speak now, have the direct control of all the State House of Assembly, okay? And they could come and have a consensus agreement, and restructuring will happen in less than 6 months. These are just processes. Nobody dies about it. But the reason why they will not restructure is probably because they are currently enjoying leverage on the existing structure. It favors a particular group of people, and they will be the one that will shut down any move to restructure. So when you shut down move to restructure, people are feeling you're caging them, okay? People want to innovate. People want to create. I cannot, in my own zone now, I cannot raise money abroad and come to do electricity. I cannot. I have to go to Abuja to get permission. And then if I have to connect it to national grid, how will development happen? Do you understand? I cannot call my friends together in London and say, raise $1 billion to come and do some project, maybe real project or whatever. I cannot. So the current constitution is our biggest problem. And anybody saying he wants to move out, let me be honest to you. Nigeria does not have anything like referendum. So there is only two ways. Either the leadership of the country follow the line of the doctrine of necessity, get themselves together and let off the problem, or the continual agitation, continual insecurity will plummet to a point where even the leaders themselves will not be able to move around. If we trace the genesis of IPOB, Oduduwa, ESN, and all those stuff, it boils down to injustice. When the leaders have two rules, one rule applies to one group, the other rule applies to the other group. IPOB was proscribed, as at the time IPOB was proscribed, they were only carrying flags. They were only agitating and protesting peacefully. And then Buhari ran to the courts and do their abracadabra. And again, it still boils down to the fact that one man is so powerful. The constitution has given one man so much power that he can do and undo with 200 million people. He can decide to deploy the military and kill people and nothing happens. Just one man. And it is that 1999 constitution that gave that power. One man can decide to manipulate and change the Supreme Court leader. One man can decide to manipulate and cage the entire National Assembly and the entire Senate. We are in trouble. And if the political leadership does not wake up, especially the political leadership in the North, because I see that they are the one that are against restructuring, they are the one that doesn't want anything to change in the constitution. They are so comfortable. You raise a case of Pantami in the National House of Assembly, it will be shut down. You raise a case of Buhari ineptitude in the National Assembly, it will be shut down. You raise anything in the National Assembly that is against their interest, it will be shut down. How do we want to change a violent approach? I pray for this country. Thank you.
We thank you. Dr. Onwuasoanya, please. If you are still with us.
I don't know what else to say. I think I've had. But the truth is, the position somebody made about restructuring is up, but so many things are quite out of time, truly. And that is, one of them is the issue of restructuring. It would have made a lot of sense to say, oh, let's sit down again and talk and see how we can move forward. But the fact is that no matter what we do, I still insist that people are so hungry, there's so much despondency, and I don't know how we can at least mitigate such things. Just now, I read, while I was on the conference, I read a communique from the Southeast governors, their reactions from their meeting over the weekend. So many things they wrote and wrote and wrote of what they would do, how they would partner with state governments, how they partner with established security agencies to solve insecurity in the Southeast. And my comment immediately was, you cannot fashion any form of security outfit that work in the Southeast without having an economic content. People are disgruntled, and without security content, those things will never work. And that is my view. So I still insist that the Southeast governors should be able to come together and to a large extent work towards creating some enabling environment for people to survive before they can think. People are not thinking, there's no food in their stomach. So how can we be talking about a lot of people? What is happening in the north is exactly what we want to happen in the east. The economic situation is so low that people can believe anything, so long as it will give them some level of hope. So they are holding on to certain things that are coming from certain people because it gives them some level of hope. And this hope, the only way to counter it is for the established security government, those who are in government, to create some, at least start doing something, start giving some people hope. There's no other hope except listening to people buying the data of 100 naira and listening to what ESN is saying, what IPOB is saying, what Mefor is saying, because there's nothing coming from the government angle. Incidentally, almost all the governments in the Southeast are not even paying salary again. I mean, I'm serious about this. So there's no money flowing around, the cost of goods are higher, and people are hungry, and people cannot. So anything that we are doing now, we must look at the economic content. The Southeast governors can be talking about improving security without talking about, without including an economic content to it. How do they improve the living conditions of people? How do they make people at least believe them again? And without that, whatever they are doing will not work. So every other thing we are saying here about national, I don't think it makes any sense until people start having food on their table. That's my view. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Alibaba.
Okay,
please.
Dan, sorry if you just give me a minute. We need to understand the concept of economy, because when people keep talking economy and poverty, they don't really understand how this works. Let me explain it in simple terms. We have two families. One family has three children and one son, and they have the same size of farms, okay? Productive capability says, what can each family produce? So family A can produce 10 tubers of yam, family B can produce 10 tubers of yam. Now, if family A is given the freedom and the liberty without any law restricting them, family A can decide to build a machinery that can enable them to produce more yam. So what happens? They have increased their productive capability. So from producing 4 yams, they can produce 10 yams. The machinery can go ahead and improve. They start producing 100 yams and selling and making money. But if there is a law that tells them that they cannot produce that machinery, how would they grow? And that is the problem we have in Nigeria. The exclusive list and the concurrent list is the devil in the 1999 constitution. It needs to be taken off. Let people grow. We have the intelligence. We have the intellectuals. The Nigerians are all over the world. They are making strides. They are developing other people's country. Then you come to your country, somebody will sit in Abuja and tell you need approval for you to bring your friends together to build power. How can a country develop without power? I'm looking at everybody on this screen now. You can tell who is in Nigeria and who is not in Nigeria. You can tell. So how much does it cost to install a windmill of, say, 20 meg or whatever that can serve a community? Why will government force me, if I'm able to raise money in London and get my people to come and invest in my place and generate power and serve a small group who are ready to pay? But government is telling me that when I build it, I have to connect it to national grid. Then Abuja will take it and distribute it the way they like. So when people are agitating that they want to leave, let us understand the crust of the main matter. People are caged. They cannot develop. They cannot grow. Let me tell you, the only way you can develop is if you leave that country. Now, if you leave that country, you go and develop other people's country at your old age. When are you going to come back? If you're in another man's country, you will always be treated as a second-class citizen. Let us take off that 1999 constitution. And I am calling on the Senate and the House of Reps and the political leadership. Let them do the needful. Or else,
come back to the
insecurity will keep on going.
I think we should create another discussion for you on this topic, Marcel. Mohammed, please come on board, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Please, can
Thank
I
you
just
for concluding
can I
comment.
have a minute, please?
Hello?
Just a minute, please. Just a minute. I'm rounding up. A minute, please. Can I? Just a minute.
Okay,
Please,
let's.
Alibaba, I'm sorry for this. I want to react to what Marcel said. I just want to react to what he said. You see, the truth about it is that when you talk about power, I can understand power should be deregulated, yes. But we are talking about the basic need of life. Okay, as we speak today, the man will receive 100,000 naira before the end of the week. 70 to 80,000 naira goes up north to buy granite, palm oil, beans, maize, pepper, and nothing is produced in the southeast. Okay, so this has nothing to do with power. The man in Port Harcourt, same. The man in Enugu, same. Probably the man in Ebonyi, a little different, or the man in Enugu. But this is just a consistent thing. Just this weekend, I read the story.
If I have my money, if I have my money, I don't need to farm. You don't even understand this. America is a service-based industry.
Marcel, I will meet you.
People surviving.
If I have my money, I don't need to farm. I will buy. If I have my money, allow me to grow. Allow me to grow.
Talk about billions. I don't talk about billions the way you talk. I'm talking about nothing about.
Hello.
Let Mohammed speak now.
Can I? You see, I find it at times, if not because of the seriousness of the situation, because some take them serious, I find it laughable when I have people grandstanding and pretending to be speaking for people. And these are the kind of persons that all they have is access to the media, or people that cannot win election even in their voting units. And then they will pretend they are speaking for a whole ethnicity just because they have access to the media. Now, this lie about Constitution, 1999 Constitution being fraudulent or doctored, it's also another false narrative, because it's a complete replica of the 1978 Constitution. And there has been no Constitution in living memory that has undergone the kind of process the 1978 Constitution went through: the Constituent Assembly, the consultation, and even the best brains we had at that time, at that point in time, were the ones that created it. But most importantly, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. You cannot have another constitution without going through this existing process to change it. And it's 20 years now since this democracy started. Nobody have moved such emotion. Even the so-called restructuring, the state police, they only come to the media to arouse, to grandstand, just for maybe to get hits or to make a hype. The National Assembly is the root, or the state assemblies. But these guys, because they are mere noisemakers, fringe groups, and rabble-rousers, they have not even been able to bring it to the forefront of the polity, to enable them stand for election and win and go and represent the people and speak on that. But they will always find some cheap media sources and then be grandstanding and instigating other gullible.
Can I reply this, Mohammed Ali? Can I reply?
No, let me finish.
Can I reply?
Let me finish.
Ike, you will speak after him. Let's just listen and I'll come to you.
So all this grandstanding, whoever really wants, most of those that are urging these street urchins to convert, to transform their areas to another northeast, are mostly out of harm's way. They are either in Lagos or in the north or wherever they are in their comfort, or abroad mostly. So, and they don't care because they are angry and unable to restrain their anger under misguidance. All this issue about some people being preferential. How can the cowherder leave the north and go to the south under that humiliation? Or the cobbler or the megad if he's comfortable where he is? So these people that don't, for instance, now I used to cite the issue of Uzodinma and Okorocha. Is any of them from Zamfara? Is one not accusing the other of the violence that is being unleashed on Imo now? Is any of them a non-Igbo or a non-Imolite? So we need to face up to this issue that this elite, they only call on tribe, ethnicity, or religion just to keep people divided so that they'll continue with their exploitation. Check out the list. Since the days of Abiola, I used to cite the issue of Africa Ocean Lines or Habib Bank. Both Erado and Abiola own those banks, and they never separated despite all the crises in June 12. And that is how the elites have consistently viewed where the private interests
interests are. They don't care about tribe or ethnicity, but they want to knock heads because they want to remain relevant and continue with the privileges. And a lot of us, despite the education and the so-called exposure, we surrender, we subscribe. And this is the benefit. So misgovernance, corruption, and poor leadership permeates from every ward, local government, state, and urban. And so long as we don't focus and address them, we'll continue to be chasing shadows. But the fundamentals must be stuck to. Restructuring or whatever can only happen in Nigeria, except if you have a coup. But if
no, don't mute him, please.
If you muted him, the mandate to go through the process. Most of these people are just self-appointed rabble rousers. That's all. Right. And that's why for 20 years now, none of that has made any impact.
Mohammed, well, anyway, let's not go into the question of whether the elected leaders are actually representing the people.
But they went through election. Now let the next person go through the election.
Yeah, let's not. Okay. Okay, let's call it.
Please,
let's call Ike. Please, only Ike should speak now. Kasmia, just wait. Let's see Ike, please. Kasmia, let's call Ike to speak. All right, Ike, unmute yourself.
Let's be polite. Let's be polite. Mohammed, thanks for your contribution and thank all for their contribution. Firstly, I ask, is this Onwuasoanya is the guy who worked with Rogers? I don't know if he's the person who worked with Rogers. If we can take it through perspective, there was a time one of my professors, I was discussing with him, and the wife asked me, why is Nigerian politicians so rich? Why are Nigerian politicians so rich? I said, I don't know. He said, are they investors? Are they producing anything? Why are they so rich? That there's no how you will serve in a government and you come out to be a rich person. I don't know. Up to today, nobody have answered that. How come Rogers became so rich in Imo State that even the next local government, there's no access road to Imo State, and it's the Northerners who put Rogers in Imo State, and you're not telling me that is the Northern Caliphate that always will go to Rogers and
so they are the ones that go to Imo and vote.
And they just don't worry the voting. Their voting doesn't count. There's no election. Even in 1999, take it. In 1999, Olusegun Obasanjo never won the election. I was there at Abuja. Jimmy Carter came all the way from America.
In fact, it's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. So who won the election?
It was
Mohammed, allow him to finish.
When you were speaking, I was not interrupting.
Mohammed, allow him to finish.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Obasanjo never won the election. It was Olufale who won the election. I was there at Abuja. And the people who voted this, and I was in Wuse, Zone 6. All the way, they came with trailers and poached people into Abuja in 1999. And this is a long-term, coup against the democracy. Then the next thing I want to say, people are talking about security. What is security? There is first long-term security and the mid-term security in the first place. I'm a criminologist, and we are now into a technology that is easy even to monitor a whole. You be in your room, you monitor a whole town. You be in your room, you monitor a whole city. Anything that moves, you can monitor it. There's no need of asking us. And the security is not about physical security, this gun. Everybody carrying gun. It's not a security. Security starts from the school, from the primary school, secondary school, to a university, and security starts even from the women group, the men group, everything. That's where security matters. And security is not this type of security we are talking now. This is what we call physical security. I'm a criminologist. I have this knowledge. This is what we call physical security. And physical security cannot save any country. Ask anywhere. Okay, let me give you a practical example of what they call food bank.
You have 20 seconds remaining, sir.
Yes. You have what is called food bank. In every community, there's a food bank. And in every community, security starts from the bottom to top. Security doesn't come from top to down. It's always from the bottom to top. Like as an individual, is your closet that you can put your money, you put what you have, is there. That's how security starts. Security never starts from, okay, you call Abuja to come with army and police. That is not security. So let us be sincere and water. And this is Mohammed, you are talking about the Northerners. I was there. Allah Majiri, they are so poor that are they talking of this? You see people, poverty there. And the two people wearing a big agbada telling you they will not restructure Nigeria, they will not restructure Nigeria. If they restructure Nigeria today, the North will benefit more, and the economic reality will come to the poorest of the poor. And one thing you have to understand, poverty is nothing but slavery. Poverty is nothing but slavery. If you are poor, you are a slave. So let it go to your people's mind that poverty is nothing but slavery. If you open good roads, if like Mbakwe did, open every access road in Imo State. At that time, it was only in his house today, you only see 2 buildings from Mbakwe's house. Mbakwe has no estate, nothing. Rogers came and built estate because the Northerners put them down, give you army and police. And then army and police will be rattling to anybody. So is this Onwuasoanya, the person who worked with
my brother, leave Onwuasoanya FCC alone. You have made your point. Thank you very much. Your points are very well made. I think we should be coming to the end of this conversation. Our time has virtually run out. However, let's be fair. I don't know whether any of our discussants still want to make any contribution. Let me know. Otherwise, let's just sorry, who's talking? Sorry. Okay, otherwise, let's just take the guys who have raised up their hand for a long time. Let's just be fair to them. But please, promise you will speak for only 1 minute and no more. 1 minute.
Dan, please.
I will come to you. I will just allow those who raised up their hand.
Oh, I see.
Just
right.
1 minute, and then we allow our lead discussants to. Yeah, we round up. We will be ending this. Let's start from Chukwude.
Why did you jump that guy? That's another person. That guy has a lot of influence in that community.
Onwuasoanya, are you speaking in a group? Okay. Chukwude Onwuka, please. Just 1 minute, please. Strictly 1 minute. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I've heard what other people said. But my question is this. My feeling is this, that Nigeria has always been ruled by the Fulanis, directly or indirectly. And this is the first time that we noticed that the playbook of Ottoman Folio is being used to rule Nigeria. Other ones will not use the playbook. Now, this time around, we have been seeing people who have been marginalized, the Igbos. We have seen that also what Igbos do well, that is business. They have tried to disintegrate the Igbo man from doing the business right. They have stopped every business is going in Igbo land, thereby creating second Amaj race in the eastern region. And this is what is creating another problem in the eastern part of Nigeria. It is obvious that the government do not want progress in that country, because everything they do is geared towards making everybody poor, so that we can destabilize the country, so we can create unfortunate situation for them to rule the whole Nigeria in the way they want, making everybody a bunch rich. And this is what I think.
I thank you very much. Mr. Ilikanu, please, just 1 minute. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Or do we move on?
Dan, don't be too much in a hurry if you're looking for solution. So yeah. So the young man has said it all. You see, what baffles me is that the so-called leaders of Nigeria, whether it's Fulani or even our state governors, all of them travel to abroad. They go to various hotels and lodge. They have everything working. They buy their Rolls Royce, somebody else made, and no road in their region. Are they not ashamed? What is the problem that they cannot develop Nigeria and enjoy the same thing they enjoy in Dubai? That is the question. And this man that talked, I don't know whether it's Alhaji or what, that found the Nigerian constitution good. I want to ask you, this thing you are saying to change the constitution, we know that you have to go to the National Assembly. But what is the structure in the National Assembly? Any bill you bring there, the Northerners have the majority, unless it favors them. What are you talking about? You still did the right thing. It's like doctors, when somebody dies, the doctors have cured the disease, but they don't know what to kill that fellow. You go to pathologists, and the pathologist will tell you the cause of the death. That the cause of Nigerian illness and eventually the death is the constitution. We have to throw it away. Enough is enough. How can people be leading a country for donkey years and no dividend for it? And you are talking. We have resources. No, wait, let me finish, please. We have resources, the natural resources, we have human resources, and yet we are backward. Enough is enough. Stop talking or going up and speaking grammar. Let these people get out of the government. Simple. Thank you.
Can I come in?
Yes, you can come in or go out.
Very interesting.
Very annoying. Look at me at my age. I'm spending 60 years overseas. After my studies, we came in 60s to study and come back home. And the majority of us are here. And you're telling me rubbish.
And you refuse to come back to come and develop it. You are just enjoying other people's development.
Without you open my office in 1982.
Who developed that place where you are based now for these years now? Why can't you come and develop your own?
Mohammed, I think
in Nigeria.
I think we should have some respect, please. Let us respect each other, please.
Okay, let's
Mohammed is not up his hand.
Can I respond?
Okay, no, please. I will. I think we should meet everyone now. Let's observe the proper decorum here. Kasmi and Wafa, please, just 1 minute. Our time is up, and our discussants should make their contribution. Just 1 minute, please.
Yes, what I'm suggesting is that Nigeria must go back to 1963 platform. Whatever we are saying here, without addressing that, we are not serious. The UK just cancelled their so-called, what they call it, their so-called granting IPOB or ESN members asylum. We don't need that. We're not criminal. We're not hungry. We don't need that fucking asylum. What we need is for them to come here and conduct a referendum and restructure Nigeria for us.
But they cannot do that. But Britain cannot come to Nigeria to restructure Nigeria.
They know what they will do. They know. They are still controlling this government. They say, I still control this country. We can't pretend about it. They have their way around Nigeria. Thank God the US intervened. US have told them. If you don't
anyway, I don't know when you start flying all over the place.
It's not
and
me.
you are not able to.
Whatever happens, we have some information.
Well,
they have been told this. If this country is not restructured in the next 4 years, don't forget Nigeria.
Okay, we thank you. I don't know. Okay, let's take Wind Bacha agenda because he has raised up his hand. All the reason of the hand now. We must go back to our lead discussants. But the agenda, please, Mr. Agenda, go ahead. Please unmute yourself, and then we go back to our lead discussants and then conclude the discussion. Agenda, please. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, very good. What I'm saying here is, I think I'm about the youngest person here. I'm a youth. And
I'm
in my
also a
early
youth,
years,
too.
beautiful, but we are not age mates.
I'm also a youth.
I've been around a lot of persons, and most of these people that we schooled together, most of these people that we learned businesses together, because I, for one, after graduating from the university, I served 7 years under another Abalum boy, if you understand what that means, even with my education, so that I can be very useful in the Nigerian society. The government hasn't given jobs. I have gone to learn a trade, and the government is still pressing my neck. A lot of persons have left business, and a lot of the Nigerian youth down south are now into 419 and internet fraud. And this is the reason. You're talking about security when you have not provided jobs. How would security thrive if there are no jobs? You are talking about taking it to the National Assembly. How would bills be passed to the National Assembly when we don't have equal representation? And now, why are they not afraid? Hold on, sir. Why are they not afraid of implementing the comfort report? Or why are they afraid of do I say referendum? Because if a person is not satisfied with a nation, the person has the right to ask, or a people have the right to ask for a referendum. So why are they afraid of it? It is a democratic right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thank you very much. Please, if we continue to go on and on, we will not leave here today. We must conclude this in the next 5 minutes. And for that, let's allow our lead discussants to please make their 1 minute presentation, and then that will be the conclusion of the discussion. Can we start from Fcc Onwuasoanya Jones? Are you still with us? 1 minute?
Yes. Thank you very much. I think we have had a very extensive discussion, and we have learned a lot. But I will want to insist that we, as much as possible, try to become Nigerians before going to our different ways. Let us stop politicizing the issue of insecurity. Let us explore ways to solve this or reduce it, because there is nowhere in the world where there are no instances of violence, even in the most advanced countries of the world. So, but it is more important that we stop politicizing or trivializing the issue of insecurity by making it an ethnic thing. There are people of Yoruba stock who are killed in the southeast. There are people of Fulani stock who are killed in Lagos. So whatever we can do, let us be Nigerians first. Work towards making Nigeria work. And when that happens, we'll be able to be better in our different ethnic nationalities. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Mr. Makanjuola, next, please. 1 minute. Is he still with us? Mr. Makanjuola. I think he made his concluding talk the other time anyway. So, Mr. Marcel, I think you made your concluding talk the other time, actually.
Dan, I have made my point clear. The political leadership in Nigeria, they have to decide whether they want to save the country or they want to sink the country. Is their decision. A ball is in their hands, and I believe they can save this country. I don't think anybody really wants to leave Nigeria. Let me be honest to you. Everybody has their pains. Those pains can be addressed. The political leadership can address those pains, and the economy of the country, the pot will be bigger. See, I can tell you 100%, God has blessed Nigeria. We have a very good weather. Make Nigeria safe. Allow people to innovate. Let regions, we have 6 regions now, let them grow at their own pace. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, they are all within UAE, but they're growing at different rates. That is what is in the whole world now. That is what the whole entire world is practicing. True federalism. The political elites should, the doctrine of necessity, Buhari should, doctrine of necessity, save Nigeria. If they think they can continue using violence, then we're all in it.
Mr. Mohammed, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been very interesting discussion, but I think a lot of us cheaply surrender to toxic narratives or carry over, say Fulani dynasty or whatever. And I will continue to ask. Now, when I ask between Uzodinma and Okorocha, who came from Zamfara, they say they are all acolytes. Now, if the only process we have, some people are calling for process to go through the National Assembly, is because they have popular mandate. You don't expect that for any reasonable person. Somebody that has popular mandate and another person that simply declares himself as a spokesperson of an ethnicity or a group has superior mandate. If you truly represent the people, why can't they send them to those assemblies? You should go and contest and go to assembly. And then, most importantly, some of us that are asking for us to go back to 1963 or alluding to a 6 geopolitical zone. We don't have 6 geopolitical zones. In fact, why only Yorubas and Igbos are insisting on this so-called true federalism is because they are a homogeneous lot. Me in the North Central, I have nothing in common with the man in Plateau apart from our geographic neighborliness. So why should anybody want to group me with him?
It's serious at all.
Mohammed, you can come to the Southeast. We'll take you. Come and join us.
When you're already converting it to
no, we love you. Come and join our zone. I will host you.
No, I don't love. I grew up partly in Maiduguri. I have not gone back there for a while because of violence. So why should I come to a place where they are trying to emulate Maiduguri or Northeast? Those are the issues. So let's face up to the fundamentals. The leadership from the world, local government, and federal level. Somebody has asked, why are politicians richer? It's simply, and that is what cares. So every other thing is a fallout of misgovernance. But so long as we continue to subscribe to this ethnicity, this thing will not finish. Because the criminal in your midst, after all, even the so-called true federalism or secession, these same people will inherit those structures. All these rabble houses will still be on the sidelines because they are not in the system. So
I will ask you a question, Alibaba, but I wouldn't stop the other. If when they finish, I will ask you one question I would like you to consider. Let's go to Otunba Osenie, please. Otunba Osenie, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try and fix what I want to say as a summary. Again, I want to make everybody here tonight understand that if we do not discuss issues, causes of our problems, we're not going to find solution. It's been established, and I'm sorry, I have to keep using myself as an example. I find it difficult to change the way and manners I've seen two words. Nobody can give me a reason why I should have to revert back to a climb where there's no respect for human rights, where there's no respect for ordinary providing basic things for the people of Nigeria. I don't want to stop at Buhari's level. Somebody said all this rubbish and nonsense started from far back 1940. It shows clearly the kind of people we are. Have we ever asked ourselves, why do I want to be only champion of everybody, take advantage of everybody? Oh, I have my driver. Oh, I have my tailors. Oh, I have my watchman. I have all this kind of thing. And I have my generator anyway. What kind of people are we? I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody. The sensibility is that we lack it. We don't understand it. That in a governance, we have gone past the state of nation. We need to understand that governance should be for everybody, support everybody. And I will continue to say this. I'm provided for in the country where I live. And if Mr. Mohammed says to everybody here tonight, I'm really surprised that he must go back and check the history of elections. 99.9% of elections in Nigeria have been rigged. People have been selected out of I don't know whether, he also appreciate that the Constitution of 1999 is so fraudulent. Why did the federal government challenge it?
It's not fraudulent.
I think he has addressed that topic. Dr. Obodo, please. Dr. Obodo, please. I think
very well.
Please.
Email. I will send you right.
Mr. Mohammed, listen. Mr. Mohammed.
Okay, wait. Hello. Please.
I'm here.
Otunba.
When the Southwest decided to take action in a relationship where if it is a man and a woman, when one side is not happy, they take action by wanting to divorce each other or separate.
Okay.
In a big organization, when they're not happy, or Nigeria, they take a decision to invoke force majeure.
All right, thank you,
so
Dr. Otunba. Thank you, please. Let's, Dr. Obodo, please, finally.
Okay. I simply want to say that the Baba that spoke, that nearly had an encounter with Mohammed, said something, asked a question. These leaders travel abroad. And he asked, don't they feel shame? Are they not ashamed of themselves? And then somebody said something about, are these people who are representing us in the Senate not elected? You see, I've always insisted that the leadership you get is what you deserve. At the back of all these problems is the issue that we have become so valueless. You just get into power, everybody starts praising you, nobody asks your president, nobody asks anything. People just want to work with you no matter who you are. You see, so I don't know, when we talk, we need to also at least review who will bring out to represent us. Are elections held? What are people doing to change the scenario? Are the people who are in the Senate? Because all these things wouldn't have been happening if we have the right people who are elected in power. If we have the right governors, the right senators. So these are also part of the things that are causing serious problems. Because people feel defeated. People feel that they don't have a right to speak again. And this having a right to speak or having a right to participate in activity, including having a right to elect the right people too. So without proper elections, I don't think we'll see also having, we'll keep still having security. But there must be an avenue to voice your grievances. And one of the major avenues is in your voting strength, in your voting power. And those things have been denied by the people for a long time. Not just now, but it has been consistently that way for a very, very long time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, I will officially end this discussion. However, if you want, so that any of our guests that feels he should leave can now leave without us feeling offended. So I will thank all our lead discussants, and then they are free to leave. But anybody who wants to stay for a little 10 minutes. 1 second, let me finish so that anybody who wants to stay for another 10 minutes can now do so. So let me thank Dr. Mefor for being with us tonight. Mr. Fcc Jones Onwuasoanya, thank you very much. Mr. Adigun, Makanjuola, thank you. Mr. Marcel Ngogbehei, thank you. Alibaba Mohammed, thank you very much. And Otunba, Olabode, Osenie, thank you all very much for honoring our invitation to come and speak on this topic. Having said that, you are now free to go. And then let me allow James to make his point at this point. So, James, what do you want to say?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I came on late, but I will just share wisdom with us. And I've been here for quite some years now. The problem we have in Nigeria is very unique. And
Sorry, I think everybody's unmuting. Let me mute all the way, then I'll ask you to unmute again, please.
Okay, the little problem we have in Nigeria is unique. One, we segregate ourselves, and once we partition ourselves, we can move forward. Before we will be talking about referendum, we have to talk about devolution of power first. I live in the UK. What they've done with Scotland, Wales, and England is devolution of power. Until they give devolution of power to different regions, you cannot migrate into referendum. Why did I say that? You see, until some things have been proven wrong, you will not be able to go to the final solution. Before you can be seeking for divorce in marriage, you must have litigate against it. And if it's not working, then you move on. The problem we're having is when you live if a Yoruba man live in the East, they don't have a say. If a Igbo man live in Lagos, they have say. If a Hausa man live in Lagos, they have say. If Igbo man live in Kaduna, they don't have a say. You understand? It is Yoruba that is like the level ground. You understand? Yoruba host everybody. Yoruba do things, and we cannot continue to segregate each other. Let us fight together as Nigerians. One. I understand why people are saying it is this way, it is that way. But the little thing is, if we can argue this thing as a Nigerian together, and once we don't get devolution of power, Jonathan was there. There was no noise then. If Jonathan was there, he left, people did not cry then that he should do the referendum then. And now it is Hausa man that is there. We are making noise. I live in London. I moved to Scotland. My benefit was not taken away from me. It is not attached to my citizenship. It is attached to my location. So if everybody live anywhere in Nigeria and they can access everything they need to access, I think that there will be no problem. This the segregation we have given ourselves. This is Igbo. I serve in Port Harcourt. I benefit National Youth Service then, like 22 years ago. So all these things we're talking about, if we can fight as Nigerian first, then there is devolution of power to different regions to be able to do certain things. In Scotland, you cannot talk about immigration by yourself. Policing in Scotland is quite different from policing in England. So if we can follow this simple thing, the problem Nigeria is having is we copy American, we copy UK. Where do we stand? We are talking about politics. God will help us. If we can really look into the Nigerian problem critically, we will find a solution that will be befitting for us as a unique people. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Imo State House of Assembly on fire. That's the breaking news. That's the state of insecurity. So how will Nigeria move away from all these things that are happening now?
Excuse me. The insecurity in the Eastern region now is created by, you know who created this? They stabilized the Eastern region, so they'll have their way. This is made. They are playing. It's their playbook. The playbook of Ottoman Dofre is working now for them. It's not. We're saying that we're thinking that they don't enjoy it. Believe me, the people that are doing this enjoying what is happening now. They love the situation because they want to take control of everything. That's exactly what is happening. Nobody is more Nigerian than an Igbo man. We live everywhere. We love every possible. We want to deal with everybody. We have been so marginalized in Nigeria to the extent that everybody knows it. We are given 20 pounds at the end of the war. We made something out of it, and still they don't like it. It's obvious to them, obvious to everybody. Let's call a spade a spade. If you want Nigeria to work, we have to understand the condition of everybody. The people who have upper hand don't want to listen to them. Don't listen to anybody. They can keep on playing this game. You can play this game, but Nigeria is going to end up where it's going to end to if they don't listen to everybody. No.
Well, it's that is the situation the country finds. I wanted to ask Mohammed this question because when we often say, go and present yourself to contest, go and present yourself to contest and win an election, is it possible for anybody who really wants to contest?
Please, can I answer that question, please? Can you answer that question?
Yes.
So, you present yourself.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, okay, you're hearing me, sorry. I say somebody is telling you to go and contest, First, you have to know what is democracy, what is justice. All these levels are not there. As a politician, which part are you? Are you a moralist politician? Are you a liberal politician? Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? Are you conservative? Everything in Nigeria is that, if I have money, I will go and contest the election. And there is no principle in any election. And that is the root of it. For you to move in that, even as a person, there must be principle. Is there biblically, is there in a Muslim religion, is there in Buddhist, is there in Hindus? There must be a principle. Anything you want to do, there must be a principle. It's not a question of I have money, then I go and contest election. I can take gun, shoot the other persons, and then win the election. We are talking I said it before that in 1999, we started in a shadow foundation. And everything in a shadow foundation will not move forward. I can bet with my this is that Obasanjo never won the election of 1999. And Jimmy Carter was there in Abuja in order that they rig the election. The population that voted in there, they all came from with the lorry road of trailer. They were all coming to vote and vote. And these are people who are not living in Abuja. They were not in the people in Abuja are supposed to vote, but these people were not living there. They came to Abuja and voted. They had their voters card. How come they have their voters card? And you telling the person who has no money, you say you go and take this to go and win the election, and somebody have already arranged 4 loads of trailer people to come and vote for you. How can you win the election at that spot? And this happened in that maybe they have their long-term election, which some people didn't see it at that time. But this happened at that point. I observed it. I thank God I had the knowledge of phenomenology, so I observed it. So there's what is playing out in Nigeria is now synthesis. In order to bring the thesis and the antithesis together, which can't happen at this time. The best way is there must be justice first. Seek justice. It happened in South Africa. It happened in all the countries that it happened in South Africa. It happened in Argentina. The first thing is to try to come together and say, let's resolve this. But without violence will be coming. And the type of how we quench violence is with army, with police. That is not how to quench any violence in any country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dan, let me discuss the issue of elections, because it's important Nigerians also understand the troubles with election in Nigeria. Mohammed will just ask you to go and vote, but let me tell you, don't waste your money. Shouldn't even bother your head. Let's start from the basics. Voters card. We are in this country where a lot of people registered and they were unable to pick up their voters card. The voters card were gathered together and burnt. Whereas in some other climes, you could aggregate voters card and give a chief to go and distribute to his people. I'm sure all of us were old enough, we knew what happened during Jega era. In this country where they said they are using electronic voting system, they brought electronic machines, okay? Now, we all know this machine, we know how it works. So in a particular area, machine was used. In another area, a process was used to bypass the use of machine and millions of voting come in. And then you are talking about people to go and vote. And after you have voted, we are in this country when numbers will come from the grassroots, and when it aggregates at the center, the man at the center decides to announce any numbers he wants. And when he announced, they will ask you to go to court. And when you go to court, you go there and meet their man over there, and their man will simply throw your case out, and they will assume leadership. So who is fooling who? In the US, elections are conducted by the local authorities. They are the only people that knows the number of people in their zone. So they take ownership for voters card registration and they conduct election. It is the numbers they submit, and that numbers cannot change. But in Nigeria, somebody at the top, appointed by the president, will decide who and who should be in the race. And let me tell you, there's what they call discretionary powers. If I'm INEC chairman today, the law allows me to decide how to channel my resources. So if I know that a particular zone has 5 million voters, I can decide to reduce the number of resources and ensure that no matter how they vote, they cannot bring out more than 2 or 3 million votes within the time frame given by law for them to vote. Or I can make it very difficult for them to vote. That means I will ensure that polling booths are not near your places. I will disperse them, make it difficult for you to travel distances. Whereas in some zone, I can put so many polling units and ensure that polling units are just 1 minute away from your locations, allowing you to vote massively. We all know all these games. We know these are proven games. So again, it still boils down to having one man that is so powerful.
Marcel, I'm sorry to interject you. What I'm saying here is all these proposals, all these ideas cannot work in isolation. It's not going to work in isolation. You have a very powerful ideas of how things should be when it comes to one very important part of democracy. When the ordinary people are asked to come and choose their leaders, maybe once every 4 years, every 5 years or 7 years, depends on which country are we talking about. But Marcel, the point I'm trying to put to you is none of these, your idea is going to work because of the underlying issues, the huge, very deep corruption that we have to deal with, that you have to go to somewhere in part of the country, give them 2,000 naira, even with your idea. People still will take 2,000 naira because the people have been perpetually put into poverty. And that's what they are doing. They keep putting you in poverty. So come back every 4 years, give them some money, ask them to vote. And that's why one part of the country says, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I like your ideas. Again, like I said, there will be a very
Otunba, how committed, in your own opinion, how feasible is this agitation for Oduduwa nationhood?
Dan, I think let us trash the issue of elections first. I respect Otumba's position, but let me tell you something. There is a point when forces will equal each other. Okay, APC, PDP, the forces will equal each other. They will want to match each other, funds for funds, money for money, anywhere, any place. Do you know what we decide at that point? Is the masses. So if you allow the votes of the masses to count, a time will come when the political gladiators will match each other and the masses will decide. But the problem now is, no matter how much you spend, once the man at the center can call the INEC chairman and tell him the numbers to announce or mandate him to announce a number, you're just wasting your time. Let's just take it. So whether you give people 10,000, they vote. Those votes are bullshit. The person at the center will call those professors and then aggregate numbers and present. And then if you say you want to challenge this number, you will go to court. You will meet a Supreme Court governor that's been appointed by the man at the center.
Is that possible in Holland? Is that possible in Luxembourg?
It is not possible.
1993. Is that possible in Germany?
James want to speak.
1993, free fair election was won, yet the guy did not make it there. It is, you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is not about people going to become a politician.
Yeah.
You see, one thing I love about Igbo brothers, I have Igbo blood in me. I will tell you, we have to stand up to liberate Nigeria. That is what Otunba is saying. Nigeria should be liberated first. When people can feed themselves, when you offer them 2,000, they won't answer you. People are hungry now. Once you give them 2,000, they will listen. Until when we empower our people, I discover, okay, these are my fundamental solution. Igbos, they are enterprising. Nigerians, Igbo, they don't have any investment abroad that is sending money to Anambra, to Imo, to feed their people. We're not talking about structure alone. If Igbo people are feeding their own people, nobody will come and bring money to bribe them. You see, the number of Igbo abroad, we are not enough to support our people back home. Let us take people. Otunba, I met Otunba. Otunba introduced me to this group. Now, Otunba has left Nigeria. I will tell you, Otunba left Nigeria in 1970, right? I was born after Otunba left. You understand? So if we are talking about somebody seeing Nigeria, that Nigeria is going down, 1970, we are still discussing that same Nigeria now. We have not changed our mindset. If you are sponsoring 30 people to come abroad, to come and hand money, and they are sending money back home, they are feeding their people, nobody will come and bribe them to vote for them. That is when their vote counts. Okay, in UK, I think you live in UK. Now in the UK, people vote. Okay, let me explain. Scotland has got 5 million people. England has got 56 million people. There's no way Scottish voice will be heard if they want to go by election. There is no way. 56 million, 5 million cannot champion 56 million. But still, There is power devolution. Scottish government, in Scotland, they don't pay university fee for university. You understand? In England, they pay. When they give us devolution of power in Nigeria, the same thing will happen. Igbos can go to school with free education and they will be happy. The main thing is let us make our people happy first before we start to fight ourselves. If we continue dragging this thing and we cause war, it will be more painful for us to rebuild Nigeria.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Fundamental.
Thank you so much,
James. You cannot
James.
leave people in poverty and make progress in governance. It's not going to work. Some people cannot stay either north, south, west, and spending the money of the Commonwealth of the people, and you think they're going to be happy. No, it's not going to work. We are wasting time by discussing, romancing areas that are not, it's not helpful to governance. I keep saying governance. I read political science, and I'm saying governance. Most governance is about business meant to serve people and their properties. We're not doing that in Nigeria. Some people will be sleeping. If sleeping rough, yeah, people do sleep rough here, despite the fact of the basic things that have been supported. And like Honorable James said, I have been away since 1970 thinking when I come back. I went back 1981. I got back to Nigeria to do my NYSC after 10.5 years in Germany. Today I see speaker because of whatever it is. I still believe things will have been better, but I've now discovered that we have a bunch of people who do not care about you and I. They only care about themselves. They will take money that's supposed to be make Medicare, roads, and so come and buy properties here. I'm sorry if any of you or who are here today. I'm sorry, I'm not being insulted, but people should understand. You cannot have poverty and fight security. You cannot have poverty and get good governance. An average Boko Haram will come to an area in Borno, give them 2,000 naira. 2,000 naira, would they believe will carry them for the rest of their life? And they will misbehave. They go and give the address of their mother and their fathers. So these are the things. These are fundamental issues, like Honorable James said.
But if the politicians have refused to sort out this matter, do we think that matters are now coming?
Because their children themselves, they have houses in Dubai. How will our president?
Do you think that matters are now coming to a head with all this violence in all parts of the country? Banditry, militants everywhere. Nigeria is simply burning up.
Dan, when you sow seed of discord, be assured there's going to be a wild wind. When you do not train your child or children, be ready to face war of different kind of thing will happen. It's because not training children, not giving people their rights, you are creating a situation of a big problem, like America will say. And that's what we are getting. So, that's why I say, yes, if a section of the country say, oh, we are now away from our slumber, now we want to go. What if Nigeria thinks they're going to lose anything? Why haven't they done restructuring? Somebody alluded to 2014, President Jonathan. Oh, what exactly is the problem for an average Nigerian president to implement? You will never find what I want to say in civilized country. If a government of the day institute a panel to investigate anything, once the thing is out, they will openly discuss it. We have thousands of things like that. Immediately you get it, they just lock it up. And that is not only with this government. So for
because
me,
they're not serious, because when they set up those committees, they are not really serious about implementing.
They are not genuine.
But what baffles me sometimes is some of these people, before they get into government, you have discussions with them. I know some of them who used to come to London here, and before they became all these governors, ministers, and everything, you have a chat with them. They share all these concerns. I know some of these people who are in APC now. They used to be ordinary people just about 7-8 years ago. They used to come to London. We sit down with them.
Yes.
We chat. We have all these discussions. They belong to some of our Yahoo, those days to Yahoo groups, 2008, 2009 to 11. Belong to all these Yahoo groups, chatting, Google groups, and everybody shares this concern about Nigeria. Everybody talks about this solution.
Can I say something, please, sir?
Yeah.
Say something. Yeah, you said that they belong to Yahoo group and belong to all these groups. And from the onset, the mindset is already, this is the guy who wants to make quick money. He's not making, he just wants to make quick money. And the person who wants to make a quick money has no conscience about.
No. So sorry, when I say Yahoo group, it is not the Yahoo you think. It is not this Yahoo. No, I mean, you know, this WhatsApp. WhatsApp is just 5-year-old. Facebook only came into them, but before
Yahoo Messenger.
Yeah, Yahoo Messenger. There is what we call Yahoo groups. Then many Nigerians don't know it because by the time many Nigerians got to know about broadband, Facebook is already there. But before Facebook, before WhatsApp, Yahoo groups is the only way Nigerians all over the world chat.
Okay,
Whether you are
sorry
in
for the mistake in me.
Sorry?
If I have to continue,
well, because
no, gonna go
Okay, so I'm talking about that time you only chat about Yahoo groups. The only Nigerians who belong to those Yahoo groups are government officials because ordinary Nigerians don't have access to broadband. So almost every politician in Nigeria, all the people you are seeing now, almost all of them belong to those Yahoo groups, 2005, 2006, 2007. So now I'm now seeing them. Some of those, they are all our colleagues. Many of them are now governors, ministers, presidential aides. So I now ask myself, all those discussions we were having 15 years ago,
yes, where
are they now?
It still boils down to something, sir. Sir Daniel, let me explain. Nigeria is poor as an entity. Nigeria is poor as an entity. The people within Nigeria are rich. The mistake and the lie we've been fed is that Nigeria is rich. I will explain. UK, 2020 budget, United Kingdom, we have 1.3 trillion pounds as UK budget. Nigeria is made up of 201 million people. Their budget, 2020, was 16 billion naira, $16 billion, which is 10 trillion naira, right?
$16 billion is not up to the budget of Manuham local council here.
You see, sir, that is the problem we are talking about. When they are talking about there are so many fallacy people are talking about. Nigerian politicians are richer. All they can steal from Nigeria in 2020 is 16 billion. Jeff Bezos, one man, make 96 billion in COVID. That is the level of poverty in Nigeria. For you to know our politicians are poor, they were just punishing the masses. In Scotland, our budget in Scotland for 2020 is 46 billion pounds for 5 million people. Romania, a third world country in Europe, the budget of Romania is bigger than the Nigerian budget. So Hungary, 10 million people, their budget is bigger than the Nigerian budget. The problem people fail to understand is mathematics under budget. Nigeria doesn't have anything to offer any nation. Buhari, Jonathan, all of them are struggling because the national budget, we are not talking about the revenue, is the budget. What they want to spend in the whole year is nothing compared to what Romania wants to spend in the whole year. So what is not enough? We don't have a GDP in Nigeria. Fundamental problem, people are not talking about it. They are still saying we have resources. Resources we have that are just wrong. We're just giving it out.
So how do we create the budget, the money now that will now develop the country?
Sir, okay, this is how we can create the money. We go to the grassroots, which is the Nigerian people. The reason why Chinese, all these people are going to Nigeria, they are not going to do government business with the government. They are going to the grassroots. For example, in COVID, everybody is using hand sanitizer. Do you believe 6 years before COVID, they were taking ethanol from Nigeria, which they use in producing sanitizer? They are selling. Nigeria is the greatest hub for cassava in the whole world. The best place they can get ethanol is from cassava. When they came to harvest cassava from Nigeria, people don't understand. So when they brought hand sanitizer back to Nigeria, everybody was buying because they don't want to die. So there are politics people are playing on our mind, at the back of our mind. Nigeria is the third largest export of ginger. People don't know. What are our farmers to be farming? People don't really understand. So when people don't know what to put in the soil, we will be talking, we don't have money, we don't have this, we don't have that. But if we put the right thing, part of the cure for COVID is ginger. Nigeria is number 3 in exporter of ginger. Everybody see Hausa people taking kunu with ginger. Hausa has been sitting on Nigerian gold mine. But we are talking about oil. I can tell you, if IPOB should take Igbo out of Nigeria because of oil, Igbo will suffer in the future. Why? Every place in the world, they are facing away oil. Oil will be redundant very soon. My Igbo brothers have got brain that can do better than crude oil. Yoruba people, okay, I will talk about chocolate. 2020, chocolate revenue in the world was 103 billion. Chocolate is only gotten from Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon. The budget of these 4 countries is not up to 100 billion. Nigeria is the biggest, 16 billion. We are always talking in Africa that we have resources, we have mineral resources. They are taking it from us so cheaply. We don't add value to anything. If we can add value to our thing, then we meet the international standard to sell it. We are selling raw material. We are selling them crude oil. Look at crude oil. Crude oil price will be falling. Petrol price will stand. Because they have had value to crude oil. Petrol price will stand. In UK, petrol.
But we don't have the capital to add value to our raw materials. That's the problem.
We have. You see, I don't want us to go on oil. Okay, I live in Scotland. Scotland has got oil. It's not part of UK revenue at all. They don't count it as UK because the thing can fluctuate. Let us look into how our people can be developed, sir. If we can develop our people will rubbish the government.
Of course.
Okay. Whenever we raise up his hand, he doesn't know how to interrupt. Can we hear him?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Because of series of meeting I have to attend today, I'm sorry that I was late, just like the last time. I have been listening to a lot of people, and I live here in Netherlands, Amsterdam, precisely. I just have one simple question. And that question is, can someone explain to me why people always compare Nigeria with Europeans? Because I didn't understand why. I have been listening to a lot of people. They make reference to Nigeria, Holland, Nigeria, Germany, Nigeria, Ireland, Nigerian this. But I cannot understand this comparison.
I can try and help. I can try and help. Like one person, other people that know me. I have left Nigeria in 1970. I worked with the BWA for 5 years. I saved towards my traveling out of the country. Now, when I now find myself in Germany in the 70s, I lived there for 10.5 years. I went to university, I did everything. I'm now exposed. I can now see the difference. There's light here now. There's water running here now. There's a children must go to school here now because they're preparing children going to school for the future. I see good roads, Autobahn. I can see university campuses. So at the end of the day, in order for me to facilitate good understanding of how the world's supposed to be, at least governance supposed to be, I will need to make comparison and make likes for likes. I opened an orange a day, 2 days ago, and I saw the bottom part of it like blood. And I sent it to friends and family all over the world. I said, what does it mean? Because, and they know, oh, there's nothing, that's how some of them are made. So of course, we need to get our people. You said you live in Noland. When last do you have power failure for 1 month? When last do you see that children are hawking pure water on the high street of Netherlands? So the truth of the matter is, This is not being, being honestly unreasonable. We need to let this, but these people who are leaders chose not to be nice to their people. And that's why I started by saying mentality, our mindset must be taken to the lab and recalibrate it. Get ordinary chairman local government, not to spend all the money given to him on buying businesses in Greece, spending all the money given to him, sending his own children to America to study, making sure some people are so bad, the bad rules in their local government. They would rather go and buy a big Jeep because they don't want you and our people, to use the good roads. These are issues. These are fundamental. And that's exactly what James is saying, that we need to go to the road. There are many ways of making money. There are many ways of making money.
Please, can I chip in, please?
Please, sir.
There's no need of you say comparison. It's part of just one human being. We are created equal. I lived as a young boy. I was with my dad. We lived in Sheckham. And my father was working in industrial development in Sheckham. The water was running 24 hours. There's electricity, there's security, everything. There's a child. I was playing long tennis with the white children. That's why I grew up. And I eventually studied abroad. When I was studying abroad, I was in the same class with the young ones, with the white people. They are not better off than us. My children are studying abroad now. They're not better than the white people, neither the white people better than them. They are living in the, that's one thing we have to take into consideration. In Netherlands, you are living. Take example, Netherlands, in the 20 years ago, there have been, I think, 6 new cities. But in Nigeria, what we have is the colonial cities up to today. The colonial road, the colonial cities, the same Aba you meet in 1960, the same Aba you have today. The same Owerri you meet in 1960, they can only shift it to New Owerri, just like that. There's no geographical mapped areas that this is a way stated how to do things the way to do. We can say we are human. In the first place, God created us equal. One thing people say that, okay, you came to Holland, to be frank with you, you just came to Holland, you fall in line. You see that the shops are there with glass, and you respect them. Nobody is breaking the glasses and all this. Only they put camera. There's no police there, there's no army there, there's nobody with gun. Can't it happen in Nigeria? And this labeling theory we have in Nigeria. Everybody calling people criminal, they are bandits, they are thug. This is the language that we are saying. Yeah, this, yeah, with all this. This is the language we have to minimize. I'm not in support of this, but the way we address, even in a family, you are a doctor, everybody, you want to prove to everybody you have gotten a doctorate degree, you have a master's degree, you want to prove everybody has to fall in line to be respected, all those kind of things. Here you can meet a white guy. I met with one of my colleagues here. He wrote about 30 books. You can discuss with him, chat with him. He's friendly. He takes you to, we take coffee, we chat together. That's how to be human. If we can create that environment of finding our common humanity, finding our common humanity, the make of human kindness first. Be a priest, be a bishop, be anything. If you can get it first, then everything will fall in line. But in that is not, you see, a minister going with convoy. How many convoy have you seen in Netherlands since you stayed in Netherlands? How many convoy have you seen, except carrying a sick person? How many convoy have you seen? That's one thing we have to know. These people have started bidding in Holland, like Amoole in Netherlands is newly built for the people to live. And see, new houses built for the commoners to go and live.
Okay.
So that's my own instinct.
Can I? Sir, let me just let me explain a bit about Netherlands. Sir, you live in Netherlands. The GDP, the revenue, Netherlands revenue is generated. 80% is generated from farming. Netherlands is not as big as Ibadan, the city of Ibadan in Nigeria, right? Now, do you believe now that Netherlands produces more onion than anywhere in the world. Onions. They don't have land. They produce onion. They have, because of Netherlands, they have stopped the production of onion in Nigeria, in Cameroon, and other sub-Sahara countries because of Netherlands. Now, if Netherlands can farm on a land that is below the sea level, Netherlands has only been flooded once in history, and all the technology for flood not to erode any country is taken from Netherlands. That is why it is important for us to copy what Netherlands is doing right. Netherlands is making agriculture in another phase. Okay, there is a statistics that says that in 10 years' time, by 2030, they said there's going to be 10 billion people on the surface. The first problem we are going to have is feeding. We will have food shortage. And second, we will have clothes shortage. With Netherlands, they have projection that by 2030, they are going to be the largest farm after US. Netherlands is very small. After US, Netherlands is second in agriculture. How small Netherlands? So it is better for us to start looking up to this country to know who we are going to copy from. If we don't copy from the right people, we are still going to be mediocre. They are saying Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Giant in what? If we don't copy any country to become like a country that are giants in their own ranking, Netherlands has gone, what Netherlands has built, UK has not built it. I came to Netherlands in 2006, I remember. I saw bicycle everywhere. And I came to UK with an idea to start bicycle. A year after, Boris Johnson was mayor of London then. He started the bicycle for a ride in London. That is innovation copied from Netherlands. The bicycle lane in Netherlands has been copied into UK. You see, if we don't compare a country with a developing country, we will go nowhere. In Netherlands, when train passes before you, they will carry it. It is double bunk. It will carry everybody. In UK, their own train is just one. So this is the reason why we have to compare with a developing nation, and most importantly, fast developing, like Singapore. People don't steal in Singapore. Why? Everybody have enough. You left, if you should leave your phone in a restaurant in Singapore, you will come back, you will meet your phone where you left it. Because everybody have phones. When there is scarcity, there is tendency for people to steal. If I have a phone, you have a phone, and you know all phone is tracked. Why do I want to insult myself for what I have? People don't steal because they don't have.
Let's go back to the gentleman that asked that question. Let's see why he asked that question. I think it was Mr. Nebu. Can you unmute yourself?
My question is not copying. I'm not against anybody trying to copy what is good. My question is why comparing? Because for me, I don't see any reason for comparing these different countries. Because we can also look country like a human being. Maybe the medicine that work for me will not work for you, even if when we have the same sickness. So it makes me angry when I hear people comparing Nigeria with European.
So what should we do? Shouldn't we say, okay, this is like James was saying.
What we should do.
Can I come in? Can I chip in, please?
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It is quite interesting. I have to thank the person who addressed the issue, Ms. Dems. In support of what you are saying, what you said, Holland supplies Japan food. About 10 Boeing 747 is landing in Holland every day and carry food back to Japan and bring technical machineries to Holland. Like you have said, I'm repeating what you said a little bit. 2 local governments in Nigeria is more than Holland. Holland is about 16 million people. Think about Nigeria. I repeat myself what I was saying in my campaign. I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria, but I'm desperate to make a change. We can copy, we can learn. Only farming in Nigeria, only farming can feed Nigeria and feed Africa and feed Europe. The machineries our people are buying, like what I said, thinking that it will stop crime. No, it will never. I'm not supporting of criminal. Don't put me wrong, because people will misunderstand me. The 10% of machineries of arms they're bringing into Nigeria is enough to buy tractors, to cultivate, to do farming. We can feed ourselves. If you people repeat what I said, poverty is the great problem of Nigeria. And the poverty in Nigeria is created by recycled politicians. The old one, not the Buhari of today. It is an accumulated problem for years. Let us really understand it. I love this conversation. I love this topic we are discussing today. I thank you, people. Let us have show that let us understand that we Nigerians can make Nigeria great. The money the politicians are importing arms, thinking they're fighting crime. It's not possible because people are frustrated. Somebody can stay 2 days, they graduate with a certificate. It's not that he's stupid, he's very intelligent, well educated, but he cannot eat food, he cannot eat, he cannot feed the family. He's frustrated. Himself or herself see himself that a dead person. So he's showing God and say, kill me, kill me. We all go to Nigeria and see how people are angry. Sometimes you started to cry and say, oh, they have no value. Try and call some of them on the side. They will tell you their story. Because they're frustrated, they don't know the value of life. And again, in support of what I said, not only recycle politicians, our people who are praising those recycle politicians because of later on are more criminal than the crime themselves. They are the more problem.
I wanted, I don't know if I can chip in on this.
Thank you.
Obi did not money today. Can
I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay, my brother. Sorry, brother. No, I was going to say, everything that you said I agree with, and everything other people have said I agree with. There is nothing wrong in copying. China has showed us that you can grow to become a superpower by copying. There is nothing, you cannot say that because every country is different, that if you copy, what they have might not work for you. We are all human beings. We all created equal. We all have the same brain. So what works for them, if you copy it, and most importantly, if you copy it right, it will work for you. The important thing is getting it right and being able to implement those changes in your country so that it works for you. As a country in Nigeria, if we want to grow, we cannot be benchmarking ourselves against West Africa. You cannot be saying, oh, the biggest hospital in West Africa, the biggest rail line in West Africa, not even the whole of Africa, not even the whole of the world. You keep on benchmarking yourself against countries that cannot match up to you and what your potential is. So you cannot tell me that we have to be benchmarking ourselves against West Africa. We should be benchmarking ourselves against the biggest powers in the world and the most successful countries in the world. That is the only way that we can grow as a country. You have to benchmark yourself against the people that have gotten it right. You cannot benchmark yourself against Niger and hope to achieve anything, because then you will come out ahead of Niger and then you pat yourself in the back and tell yourself, well, we are good because we are better than Niger. What sort of nonsense? You're not better, you can be better than Niger, but you are still down in the rocks. You are low down as far as the world is concerned. So you have to check yourself against the best of the best, see what the best of the best is doing, and you can be able to copy
what they are doing. Copy it. Just copy the whole thing and implement it so that you can be successful. Nobody in this world, America copied the British. The Soviet Union copied the Americans. The Chinese are copying the Americans. The Japanese copied the Americans. You don't get anywhere in this world without copying who came before you. You have to copy the people that came before you to be successful. So there is nothing wrong in copying. Take it wholesale. Mapiaya in Igbo, as we say. Just take it and run with it. But the problem in our country is that we don't have visionary leaders. There is nobody smart enough to do those things. There's nobody that comes out and says, these are the things that we should do, and take it.
Brother Bright, there are people smart in Nigeria. Okay. You see, one thing is, this is what I see. We talk down ourselves. You understand? We talk down ourselves so much. We belittle our power. Okay. I live in UK. I work in UK. I studied in Nigeria. The further study I can say I try to have is in Russia. When I went to Russia, I discovered, when I came on holiday to UK, I discovered my mates are on the top of their career in UK. What is the sense in me going for my master's in Russia? And I will come back to the UK to start from the bottom of the career. So I decided, I went to the embassy, I said, okay, I need a break from education. And they gave me 2 years to come to UK to come and work. Lo and behold, 18 years has passed. Do you believe that the certificate I took away from Nigeria, everybody is saying is rubbish, is fetching me good money here? Do you believe that I am not a bachelor degree holder? I have HND. I hand better than medical doctor as an engineer here. These are things. I want people to see Nigeria in another dimension. Nigeria is unique. We have brain. Wherever you see Nigeria, they are top wherever they are doing. If Nigeria turns out to become a cleaner, they will be the best cleaner. If Nigerians come up to become anything, they will be the best. Why did we encourage people to just understand the principle? A lot of our leaders, they come to this country. They don't understand how the countries were run. I went to Nigeria almost every year, and people were saying, oh, Lagos has been beautified. I said, let me see. They did road in Lagos. They did not mark it. In Holland, they will do road, they will mark it. So when you park where they said do not stop, you know the reason. Okay, we are saying, why should we copy? Now, everybody is using e-passport. Nigeria starts using e-passport. There is a standard. If Nigeria is falling below that standard, we are not up to date. They start telling us what to do because we refuse to comply to international standard. All these courses we are taking in Nigeria, it must be up to date. When they taught me telecommunication and electronics in Nigeria, it was archaic. They taught me rubbish. When I came here, I have to update myself. But if we did not believe in ourselves, we will not become anything. I am going back to Nigeria, no doubt, to go and tell people the education that we rubbish in Nigeria that is not working, we fetch you money. It is the location we are that make us look like stupid. If Nigerians, the dumb-ass Nigerian can be taken abroad, a failure in Nigeria will become a star in the UK. That is
my brother, let it be known. Let it be known. I am not saying that Nigerians are dumb. No, Nigerians.
No. I'm right. I'm not saying that is what you're saying. I'm just saying the way we talk down ourselves, like, okay, there's nobody to do it. There's nobody to do that. I can tell you, people are designing things.
Please, can I say something? No matter your level of education, no matter what you have, there must be an income. If there is no income, you cannot do anything. There must be resources for you to do it. You can have the best brain, the best age, but if there's no money for you to do anything, you will come out to be a beggar. So that's what we are talking. We are not saying that you may have the best ingenuity, but how can a person who may have the best ingenuity, but if you have no resources to back it on, you cannot do anything. In UK, you are working, they are paying you. In River State, can you imagine that teachers are teaching for the past for the past 5 months, nobody has paid them salary.
Let us form an alliance.
How can, as a teacher in River State, you have the best intelligence, you are teaching your students. For the past 5 months, nobody has paid you. What miracle will you be doing? In Imo State, they are not paying the pensioners and they are not paying anybody in there. What will you do? In IPOB, the same thing. So this is what we are saying. We are not saying the brain is working.
This solution.
If the resources are not there, they are not going to do anything.
There are solutions to all these problems.
There's no solution about it. It's only that the people sitting at those money has. Can you imagine a local government chairman? You start as a local government, you took away 6 billion naira and you keep the people in dark and everything in dark. And you are saying the person has to, you see children suffering, everybody is suffering. One person took away 6 billion naira of the local government of the state. Nobody is questioning you.
We are talking about two things together. We're talking about corruption. You understand? This is what I can talk about corruption. Nigeria is corrupt. There is corruption all over the surface of the world. There is corruption. Nigeria is deep in it. But this is my own yardstick for us to help Nigerians. Let us form an alliance whereby the people in the diaspora will breathe into Nigeria. Now, the revenue Nigeria is making from the people in the diaspora is greater than the crude oil we are selling. So if the diaspora will be the solution to build Nigerians out, let us team up and build Nigeria out. Nigeria is too great to die. Nigeria has a destiny. We can make Nigeria great again. I understand there is problem on ground. You see, the people that can help Nigeria now are the people that have escaped. Nigeria is in an accident. The people in Nigeria cannot help. There are people that are abroad. We can help. We don't allow us to come and govern you in Nigeria. Let us bring solution and let them run with it. By the time they bring anybody from UK to Nigeria, they see small money, they change their mind. That is why somebody was saying that everybody that came abroad, from abroad to Nigeria, they become thieves automatically. All this money that they are stealing, 6 million naira, how much is it in pounds? How much is it in euro? You understand? Nigeria is the only country that when Nigeria has a problem, there's no country that is catching cold. I will tell you how economy works now. For US to be the greatest country, US has invested in Japan, invest in Holland, invest in everywhere. So if anything happens to US, all other countries are in big problem. Nigeria does not invest anywhere. So if Nigeria is dying, Nigeria is dying. So Nigerian problem does not affect any country. They saw Nigeria like a place where they are just digging the gold. They saw Nigeria like a farm. If the farm is burning, people will be saying once the house is not burning, there's no problem. It's just the farm. That is why they are not taking Nigeria serious. If Nigeria become a place, they can invest abroad. Nigeria has got population. Nigeria is not leveraging on the population. If Nigeria invests, local government in UK, local government, they invest abroad. Local government in Nigeria does not invest anywhere. And that is why when Nigeria have problem, how can a local government be depending on federal government to support them, to give them money every time? And when the money comes, if it comes into the chairman's hand, chairman will pocket it, saying they have not received it. When teachers are not being paid, pensions will not be paid because we are not subscribing to international pension. People can do private pension, that your money will be coming in dollars. Let us go back to Nigeria and go and educate them. There are things people can put their money into. People can do investment with 5,000 naira,
for their
But can
cheap
they allow,
money.
my brother, you know, some of these things, going back to Nigeria to invest, we have tried some of those things. So those who have tried those things,
There's
sometimes
no enabling environment to develop, no enabling environment in Nigeria to develop.
exactly. Sometimes the environment is very, 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 very difficult. I know some people, yeah, because unless, like, at the end of the day, the structure of the country influences the economic development of that area. And so if we take the problem of power, for instance, you take someone to go and build a first-class hospital in Nigeria, for instance, but then it depends on regular power, regular electricity. It depends on secure and safe environment. You need the road network to make sure that your industry works. In Nigeria, if you want to build an industry, you will build the road, you will build the power, you will provide your own water.
Yes.
And all those things. So at the end of the day, how will you make the profit? One man told me that the only way you can make profit in any business in Nigeria is by cutting corners. Because by the time you make all the expenses you made, without corruption, you will not break even. How does it work? That's the problem. It is easy to secure investors to come to Nigeria. We have tried it.
No,
Very
sir,
easy. But then the problem is, what is the operating
You see,
environment?
we are talking two things different.
Yes.
You see, when you are bringing people into Nigeria to come and work, okay, this is how it works. You see, a lot of things is not working in Nigeria now. We can see that. There's no road, there's no this, there's no that.
Yes.
Our money in Nigeria can travel. We can invest in the country that are stable. See, Oyibo, they came to us. They saw good things, they take. We can come as well, invest in their economy and reap and go back to Nigeria. Nigerian government does not invest in any country. Nigerian government, our stuff supposed to be in gold. We are foreign reserve is in dollars. So if they devalue dollar, what happens to our foreign reserve? We become nothing. Our foreign reserve is in crude oil. Tomorrow morning, they devalue the price of crude oil. Nigeria goes into trouble. But when you invest in UK, they will not devalue their house rent. Let me come in UK is being rented. We don't want our own embassy. Nigeria don't have anything abroad. Nothing is bringing home foreign currency to us. Crude oil. That is a big problem. When the Amoole was and their
if I have to, sorry, my friend, if I have to contribute, you say Nigerians don't have anything. There must be connection. There must be connection. Do Nigerian people or Nigerian government to relate with you as a person, you who is living in the UK? Have they even the embassy at the end of the year sent you an even a card?
You see,
there must be a connection first before you talk of the government relating with. And as an individual, you cannot do anything, no matter how much you have, except you are Dangote that government is supporting. As an individual, you cannot, except you are up like a group, then you can do something. But as an individual, no matter the amount of money you have, even if you invest it, you are going to put it in the bank. And if you put it in the bank will tell you that they didn't see the money. You'll be running around to say, where is my money? And you give your card to somebody to run.
Okay, sir.
So that's what I want to you have to have connection with the government.
Wait,
as an individual,
let me share your wisdom with you, sir. Let me share your wisdom. Most of us abroad, we buy houses, right? In the UK, in America, in Canada, everywhere, we buy houses, Nigerians. What stopped our Nigerian banks to come into UK to buy these houses for us, and we continue to pay them? This is the problem. Now, American banks, they are everywhere. They give mortgage to Americans and other people, and they make profit from different countries. Nigerian banks, they are just doing
Nigerian bank is in Ghana. GTB is in UK. Some other bank, Zenith, is in UK, but they will never give you mortgage. So how do you make profit? How do you invest in another economy that is stable, that is not like Nigeria, that money can disappear? So when we are talking about this thing, a lot is happening that our own thing, we are just stopping it. Now, most of us, we finish studying in Nigeria, we come abroad. We buy houses, we buy cars, we buy this, we buy insurance. Insurance in Nigeria will never step abroad. They will just be local. They are doing local champion. These are the problem I'm talking about. Let everybody have this mindset to expand abroad. All this stable economy, if we invest in farm in Holland, your money will come, guaranteed. They will not cut corners. So you can take something home, you can pay your tax from it, and you can keep the rest. So if Nigerians are not investing abroad, we have a deep problem. Americans have invested everywhere. UK invest in Iceland, invest in Europe, invest in Germany, invest in Netherlands, and they are making money from it. Nigeria is just in isolation. We are not investing.
It's not only Nigeria, it's entire Africa. You know, our problem are so multifaceted.
We are the leader. We are African leader. We have to lead right. If we can, you see, if we can invest all this money we are making, that we are saying, okay, we are keeping in our foreign reserve, supposed to be investment. Foreign reserve can be, they can devalue it. In UK, house price, we increase, we double every 10 years. Every 10 years. So if Nigeria should put their money in assets in UK, it will double every 10 years. But if we put our money, foreign reserve, in the UK, in dollars, and they devalue dollars, our money is gone. These people, they are smarter than us. They know how to take money from us and devalue dollar, and they said your money does not worth anything. We have to copy what China is doing. China started with made in Taiwan. Everybody was buying made in Taiwan, and later they bring out made in China. We have to be smart. We are smart enough to understand the rhythms that is happening.
Anyway,
Nigeria can work.
Gentlemen, unless, okay. Okay, those who just want to, so that we'll round up and prepare for tomorrow. Let's enable just quickly. And then
just 1 minute. I really enjoyed the discussion, but I asked a question and I never get answer for my question.
All these questions, all the people, okay.
When somebody asks a question, 2 or 3 people answer the question and they will get the person back. Now, are you cleared? Are you satisfied? A lot of people are answering different things from what I asked. I see people say, we have Britain compare this. These people copy this. My question is not to copy. I'm not against somebody see something good another person do, another country do, decided to do it. My question is simple. I couldn't understand why people are comparing Nigeria, comparing, not copying, to European, America, Canada, this.
So what do you have in mind then? Maybe we didn't get what you want to have in mind.
Give me 1 or 2 answer from my question. Then if I have another thing to
maybe we didn't
change my mind, then
maybe we failed to. Maybe it's because we failed to understand your question.
I answered your question. I said the reason why we have to compare
and benchmark.
I didn't say compare.
What did you say, sir?
All what you people are saying is copying.
You said why are we comparing Nigeria with Western world?
Yes.
Because this Western world, they have been proven to be on top. So we are comparing ourselves to a better standard so that we can become on top.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
From James, he was talking about investing, and Iraq, Kuwait, what's the name? The one that owns this airline. They invested in UK. They bought Excel to invest their money into one of these Arab countries. I've forgotten which one, either Kuwait or they bought a lot of properties by their government. They own airlines, which flies. They bought Excel Center, and they bought Newham. They invested their money in foreign currency. You're talking about Nigeria investing in foreign currency. I quite understand, but let's look inwardly. How can you invest when infrastructures in Nigeria is not working? Take, for instance, I worked under a government when it was under Obasanjo. Electricity. Let's just take electricity, for example. Do you know Obasanjo had a rally in Lagos? Then I was working in Lagos. A whole NEPA took life deliberately to teach him a lesson. The reason, they told me, when I asked the zonal head, he said, the head of NEPA asked him to switch off the lights in Lagos.
What happened?
I think we lost her.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, unless we have any further contribution, I think it's time to be rounding up.
Okay, sir. It's a privilege for me to come on board with this group. It is I really enjoy open mind talk. The way this is my submission. I believe Nigerian can work if the power unit, which is the Igbo, I still repeat, Igbo is the power unit for Nigeria. If Igbo, we can use Igbo mind to run business, Nigerian can survive. If Igbo is agitating that they just want to leave, Nigeria will die, Igbo will suffer. Nigeria as an entity, not race. Nigeria will collapse, but we Igbos, we will still suffer it. So this is what I can say. It will be good if all of us can team up. Nigeria is sinking, we can float. Definitely we can float.
I think in my own opinion,
can I comment?
Okay.
My friend, what you said, suffering, is a relative matter. It's a relative question. Suffering depends on how people see it. If I may politely ask you, have you traveled to the northern part of Nigeria before?
Yes, I have. I lived in the north.
No, I'm talking to the guy who said that if people left or if Nigeria break up, people are there. If you travel to the northern part of Nigeria and see that what the Amajiri is there, like in Kaduna and Kano, Zaria, the population of Amajiri is there. You are talking of suffering. And these people they are human beings. They are supposed, as far as they are born into the world, they are supposed to be given human treatment. I are talking to comparing to Igbo people that have 4 or 3 children, that if they train their children, they can really survive the threat of the world. The world is very harsh. Whether you are in Europe, in America, or in Igbo land, or in the Yoruba area, or in the Hausa area, the world is very harsh. You have to take that one to the bank and bank it that the world is not kind to you. You have to struggle for it to get what you want. Then for them to live, and if Holland is about 11 million people can survive on their own and be one of the world leading power, and in Belgium is also about 10 to 9 million people can survive. Why can't they survive? The question of survival is just getting the plane. You have your plane running, and if you have your plane running, and you can, agriculture is not something you can only buy land. You can only use basket, and you have to plant what you want to plant and make your money. So the survival is on relative matter. I feel that any country, even if there are people, they can survive. The Yorubas can survive. The Igbos can survive if they go their own separate way. I believe.
We think on. Let's remember that this our original topic is on security, I think my final submission on security will be that this present administration is not serious about finding solution to our security problems. I'm not saying that previous administrations are the best, but this is the first time in the history of governments in the country where the nation is facing an existential crisis from a particular issue, and there is no determined effort to get to the root of the problem and solve it. This Buhari administration, I make bold to say, is only concentrating each solution for security on the criminal justice issue. Send in the army, send in the police, fight them. But in previous administrations, it wasn't like that. Let me give an example. Obasanjo faced the issue of Niger Delta militants. He started to use, then one of the things Obasanjo started to do is to immediately start to implement the 13% derivation, the offshore or onshore dichotomy. His administration solved the problem when he thought it's going to aggravate. When he left, Yar'Adua came and saw the problem, started to use force to stop it. He saw he couldn't succeed. He devised amnesty, and immediately Nigerian militantism stopped. We come under Jonathan. Jonathan saw the issue of Boko Haram. A lot of people wouldn't want to give Boko Haram credit. But the Jonathan government decided that this Boko Haram issue is not only about insurgency, it is also about question of poverty and lack of access to education in the north. Even though he didn't practice it perfectly well, but at least he had the idea, let me start Alamajiri education system in the north. Let me help people in the north. Jonathan said it, that he saw it as a problem of a lot of children falling out of school. He made it a priority to educate northern Nigeria. Let's not forget whether there are issues with implementation, but at least someone sat down and thought of ideas. How do I solve this problem? But now, under Buhari, we are seeing banditry in Northwest, Zamfara, Kebbi, Katsina. The only thing Buhari administration can think of is to send the army. He hasn't sat down to say, why is there banditry in Zamfara and Kebbi state? Let me go and get to the root of the problem. No. Buhari saw what is happening in the North Central region, Southern Kaduna area. Buhari's thinking is that this is a question, the only solution he finds is to send in the army. He didn't want to think, why are these people fighting their hands? Let me go there and solve the problem. Now we are now seeing Southeast is not developing. I told them that Imo State, God forbid, may be the next Borno State. Buhari is not asking himself, why is there agitation in Southeast? Let me go and find out what is the problem, get to the root of the problem, solve it. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that we have a government that nobody is thinking. Maybe because Buhari is ill. Maybe because Buhari has lacked mental capacity. That is what I believe. Otherwise, a lot of effort must be going into solving this problem instead of simply sending in the police and the army. And for the first time, even Obasanjo, all of them, previous governments will say, okay, maybe the problem is constitutional conference. When you get people talking, the tension will douse. But unfortunately, Buhari is not even thinking around that area to say, okay, let me pack all Nigerians, come, let's have a conference. Even though in his mind he will not implement it. But let him simply get people talking. By the time they finish talking, his government will be over, then I'll go away. He is not thinking of that. Maybe because he's ill, or maybe because he's a felony, I don't know, but that is a question for this administration to answer. And unless Nigeria solve the problem of security, very soon, Nigeria will simply be pulling, and the whole thing will crash. And then there'll be no country after 2023. That's my 2 pence, so I don't know. Thank you all. Unless any other person wants to make a comment on this angle, then we should call it a day. Okay, no person wants. Okay, thank you. All right, then we say good night.
Please, I want to, if next time you want to see, if you can say that this question of poverty and security, if you can phrase this is that the cause of poverty causes slavery. If you can discuss it, the cause of poverty is slavery.
Okay.
If you can phrase it and debate on it, the cause of poverty is slavery. Because if everybody is rich, nobody be a slave to each other.
that is one thing. That is also a lot of people have mentioned that issue. You see, in the UK, when there is it became the question of poverty. No, the question of knife crime became an issue in London and Scotland. What the government did is not to treat it as a criminal matter, but a public health issue. And once you view it as a public health issue, you start to say, okay, maybe this thing is fueled by drugs, maybe it's fueled by poverty, maybe it's fueled by unemployment. You start to look for solutions toward that angle. But I don't know why nobody is thinking of that level in Nigeria, whether poverty is actually, I think the consensus among all our discussants today is that poverty is the major cause of insecurity in the nation. And until the country tackles poverty, insecurity will continue. But we would like to have that discussion next time, of course, whether poverty, the link between poverty and insecurity. So maybe it's a discussion we'd like to have next time.
Well,
Thank
what
all
I
of
said
you.
is poverty is slavery. Poverty is slavery. Why I'm saying poverty is slavery, I want Alhaji be going with 10 people, and he's not paying them the best salary of this thing. And those 10 people are under him suffering and all this. You see one Alhaji, the same thing. You see one the same thing. Poverty is slavery. If you can start now discussing about it, how our people have to go out of mental slavery and physical slavery.
That's a good idea as well. We can have that discussion maybe next time we're having the meeting. My contact number on WhatsApp is there so that you can always receive our invitation for our next discussion. It's been very well having this discussion with all of you tonight. We thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bright. Good night, everyone.
Good night.